where do we go from here? It gave you joy just to hear him quote the sentence, I have a dream. It did something to your whole
90.7 WTCC FM. D.Moss, NBS Malay, my man Rob Jones. Monday Night Live with D.Moss, y'all.
And we have to sit down and listen and enjoy what he's saying. And I love to see what you call a utopia. Everybody getting along, peace, joy, happiness. Now, I'm sure 50 years from now, I won't be here to see it. But this is something wonderful just happened. For my grandchildren and their children and their children to come. And we just pray that God will continue to bless, learn to love each other, regardless of the situation.
Hey, I'm still checking on the radio. You might step in this chair. You might as well get started. You know how to do this. Do my intro first. Ready? Is that right? So check us out. 90.7 WTCC FM. This is D.Moss.
NBS Malay.
And we on with the big man, Rob Jones, y'all. We about to get it. It's tight in here.
By the time you hear this message, it might already be too late.
Ready for a good night?
They might consider this a wheel. I might already be inside my brain. Now I know when it's perfect. I done made some mistakes.
Oh no, I meant it out.
Yeah, we make somebody that's perfect. Other than Jesus, don't worry, I'll wait. Don't let them tell you that skin color or money don't matter. They're trying to use our backs just to climb up the ladder. And no matter what we do, they all want us to suffer the same fate. So you're telling me that a man should lose his son no matter how good he is. You take away the way he made his family, his career, because he chose to kneel. Well, if you work hard enough, you're gonna get to a level where the powers that be consider you to be threatened. Hopefully, when you live to see that day, you will realize I'm just trying to be a legend.
That person that I sent you, I've been dealing with her for about 10 years now.
Which one?
I've been through hell trying to make it up to heaven. But I realized with him by my side, even if they kill me tonight, true legends never die. I'm not trying to preach.
Can't be that far down.
Because I'm trying to teach. They don't want you to expand your region. They train your culture by the hand that feeds them all.
Oh, yeah. You know what? We're probably gonna have to talk about that on air too, because I've had so much experience with. I never thought that we had to actually get into it.
No one can be in the world and the culture, understanding the culture without having to explain it, and having that kind of that intrinsic protectionism in the culture. Because if you say something that they can't relate to, you call them DCF. Whereas somebody in the culture can understand because they were raised and brought up under the same mores. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I don't care if you're reading a book. Well, I got my master's, I got my PhD. I'm like, everything's universal. I mean, listening to hip hop don't make you, you know, an expert in the culture. Because the culture is more than hip hop and dancing. That's what they focus on.
gonna save this right now because I was.
You live in Connecticut, right? Yeah, she's a big friend.
I've been through hell trying to make it up to heaven. Oh, but I realized that with him by my side, even if they kill me tonight.
I was driving from Worcester to see her.
Wow. Wow. That's fun. Yeah, because I definitely have to look into
She was also instrumental in helping me during my divorce and my custody case. A lot of the insights she was giving me, I used during my case. Ultimately, I ended up winning my case and getting custody of my son. But there were a lot of factors, and she was a key factor. So I talk to guys all the time dealing with those issues. Never stop fighting is the first thing. Never stop fighting.
Yeah.
You get so frustrated because of what the mom is doing or not doing. You're like, it's gonna because your kid's gonna come back and be like, and saying, you're sorry, just don't cut it.
Sorry, does not cut it all the time. It's just that enough. That's real. It's how they hear it now. People don't even know what they're apologizing for.
Again, words are just words. If there's no meaning behind it. Yo, who's this singer? Orion's son?
Ariana's son.
Like her? That's her name though?
Orion's son.
Is she on Amazon?
She might be.
You saw a winner and I felt like a loser. Coffee for dinner kept me warm and cool. But I never was alone. No, often trying to see you often.
Alright. I might have to sit back, Rob.
No word, alright.
Taking the spot.
Yeah, once you jump in the middle, I'll let you ready to talk about the coronavirus.
Oh, you want me to talk about coronavirus?
No, that's forget about talk about
Oh, okay.
and if you don't want let's get it. Turn her down. Now I'll give you back your chair.
Okay. I'm only giving you a limited amount of time on my chair now.
Actually. 90.7 WTCC FM. All right, y'all. 90.7 WTCC FM. My name is D.Moss. I'm on my homegirl. What's her name again?
NBS Malay, what up? I don't even need a mic.
Who's in the studio? We in the studio with my man Big Rob Jones, and he got some things he wants to talk about. So, you know, in true old school fashion, the way we did on the outside, we are now Monday Night Live. Yo, we're gonna get down and kick it, man. What's up, Rob?
Oh, there's a lot of things going on, and you know, there's a couple things I want to talk about somewhat in depth. One,
before you jump in, though,
didn't you say what's up?
Yeah, I did.
Did you say what's up, Rob? And I responded.
There you go, man. That's why
Okay,
you fired. You are now terminated. In the words of Dom Sarno, you did it to yourself. Right. Listen, man, we got whole girl Karen Bernard in the background. She's gonna come on. Curran.
Yep.
I said it right. Curran Bernard.
Yes.
Yep.
So she's gonna be on with us in a little bit. She's the bomb artist. She's a visual. Like when we say artist, I mean paintbrush, pencils, markers, crayons, oils, inks.
Okay, she's dope.
Everything, right?
Yes.
Chalk.
Yep.
All right, so we'll get down to it. All right, Rob.
Makes a mark.
So talk to us, bro.
Are you really ready? You sure?
I think I don't know, man.
You keep interrupting them, brother.
Well, because it says Monday Night Live with D.Moss.
And
so
D stands for getting knocked out. The D is silent.
You forgot the N.
Oh, and what's her name again?
Bahamadia?
Yo, Rockamama.
Aunt your mama?
Minnesota.
You can't fire Aunt Jemima.
Minnesota,
Y'all
something like that.
funny. Y'all funny. Okay.
All right. It's
Okay.
ABC Malay.
You know
I got
what?
it right.
You know what? I got it on my jacket, so I'm gonna let you read this.
I went to school.
Yeah, I'm cross-eyed.
It's bright yellow. I'm old. My
I'm
cataracts.
dyslexic. I got cataracts.
So we are live 90.7 WTCC. Shout out to everybody on Facebook. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Shout out to everybody on Twitter. Shout out to everybody who's watching everywhere. D.Moss, NBS Malay. I was about to say NBA. I was about to give, because you're tall and all. All right, NBS Malay.
Nerf hoop.
Oh, somebody said you saw. Oh, you sung at somebody's home. Oh my God, hey, Zena Merck, your mom. I'm sorry, your nana.
That's Zena.
I'm sorry.
That's not the Princess Warrior though, but I know Zena. Hey Zena.
All right, here we go. Let's get into it. Let's talk. You got some things you want to drop? Let's drop it.
Yeah. So one of the things we had an interesting conversation yesterday around the COVID vaccine and vaccines, and I want to give first. I want to preface my subsequent statements with saying that I am an anti-vaxxer. So anything that I say falls along the realm or the spectrum of not being an advocate for vaccines. So let me just get that out of the way so I don't want any confusions. But one of the things that we talked about in this debate series, and this is a debate series, we're going to have more debates coming up on various topics. And I think it's important to kind of get over some of the misconceptions and miscommunications of debating. All right. So I'm reading something out of Dr. Joy DeGray, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome.
Shout out to Ardera. Mm-hmm. I see you. Go ahead.
Audi, you need some lotion. So when you look at some of these definitions, opinions, all right, a brief or judgment based on grounds insufficient to produce complete certainty. All right. A personal view, attitude, or appraisal. Then you have belief, something believed, opinion, conviction. Then you have fact, something that actually exists, something known to exist or to have happened. Then you have truth, the truth or actual state of a matter. Then you have science, a branch of knowledge or study dealing with a body of facts or truths about physical and material world gained through observation and experimentation. And then you have theory.
I feel like I'm in a boring college class.
Yeah. A proposed explanation whose status is still conjectural. And the reason why I share those definitions with everybody is one of the things about debates, a lot of it's based off of opinion and belief.
Okay.
All right. So one of the things you have to realize when you do debates is you may have a dissenting viewpoint or opinion with the other person you're debating on subject matter or a topic. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have a dissenting viewpoint or opinion of that person. I think sometimes at the rudimentary stage, people, if you don't agree with somebody's saying, they're looking at it as a personal attack. Mm-hmm. That's not the case. There's people I disagree with, without equivocation, but I'm still fond of them. So as we start doing these debate shows on deck, it's important to understand the different language and the different definitions of what someone's trying to convey. And I say that in the context of COVID because when people are purporting a science, but they're really expressing an opinion and it's being conveyed as scientific fact, you really need to be careful with what you're saying. So one of the things is, let's not forget, this is America. When has America ever had the Black community's interest at heart? Can either one of you tell me when?
Yeah, back in 1619 when they realized that they didn't want to do the hard work themselves.
Okay. So all of a sudden, and that's accurate, and all of a sudden...
That's a shout out. Became tearless. My man Spanky Blake, they got the sweatshirt line.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
I like that.
Became tearless 1619. But 1619 is the answer.
1619. Mm-hmm. So
I cheated.
I like
when
it was the perfect moment to use the end promote. That was sick. That was sick. Network, I hit them up.
That's how we do this.
Yeah. You know, she got the Pinky Tuscadero leather
Oh, wait,
jacket
yeah, while
on.
we're shouting people out, yeah, let me shout out my girl, Lauren Webb. Yo, hooks me up with this jacket, too. Yeah, this is fly, right?
What is that, pleather?
Yo, I want one.
Don't be hating.
I don't care what it is. That's fly.
That's vinyl.
We shouting jackets out, you know?
That's dope, though.
Hey.
But
hit up your local brand.
one of the things as a community we need to be cognizant of is when all of a sudden an organization or an industry takes special interest in us. The medical industry for centuries has used Black people and Black bodies for experimentation, period. That's not theory, that's not opinion, that's fact. And that experimentation went from a therapeutic experimentation, experimenting on Black bodies to figure out cures and different procedures, surgical procedures, to non-therapeutic. Let me put this hot iron coal on this Black skin to see if it bubbles up or blisters different than white skin. So all of a sudden, this experimental vaccine hits the market and everybody's taking it. And guess who they're pushing? Guess who's pushing it? Black faces. Now, is that a new strategy or is that an age-old strategy?
But if you have Black faces that voluntarily do it and they're not being urged on, you know, there always got to be a flip side. I always got to take the other side. And they feel passionate about, say, the vaccinations. And they believe in it because they've experienced death, loss, sickness in their family. And they're saying, if we don't do the vaccines, then what are we going to do? If we sit around and wait to see what happens, how many Black people can we lose?
Okay. Now, the other end of the spectrum is if you're part of the dominant society and you're out there saying, you got to take this vaccine, it's going to raise eyebrows. Black people, we're not going to fall for the okie doke. We have a history of falling for the okie doke, but, you know, we're getting wiser and we're getting smarter. So there's going to be strong resistance against taking this vaccine that's an experimental vaccine.
Okay.
But if you put a Black face in front of it,
okay,
now you're pacifying or allegedly pacifying the Black community and saying, well, I'm Black and I'm taking it, so it's going to be good. But we all know that skin folk ain't always kinfolk. So when you look at some of these Black faces showing up in the history promoting things, a prime example, and we've talked about this before, Daryl, COINTELPRO, which was the systematic genocidal extermination of Black organizations and Black leadership in the country during the J. Edgar Hoover administration. COINTELPRO would not have been effective and it would not have worked if you didn't have Black agents.
So are you implying that anybody who advocates that we take this vaccine, are you saying that they're agents? Telephone number here is 413-218-6024, 413-218-6024. If you want to call in and be a part of this conversation, feel free to give a call in. This is the first time we're going to try this. We're going to see if it'll work. 413-218-6024. So are you saying, so if I was an advocate for the vaccination, would I automatically be deemed an agent, a sellout, a coon, all that good stuff?
Not necessarily. If you want to take the vaccine, that's fine. But once you start getting on a pulpit and telling Black people, you have to take this or else, you have to take this or you're going to die. You have to take this. The government says it's safe. Look there's Black people here pushing this, taking these injections, so it's got to be safe.
But if you have, if they're following the lead of Black medical experts, professionals in the field, and these medical professionals are saying, listen, this vaccine works. It absolutely works. And they're saying, listen, I'm just taking it from the word of people who do this for a living. Are they wrong for that?
They're not wrong.
There's pros and cons to everything.
Yeah, I mean,
I still haven't gotten the flu shot.
Yeah,
and they said that works.
I haven't gotten a flu shot in about 20 years.
I've never gotten a flu shot a day in my life.
But listen,
I'm listening.
I don't trust it.
It's the intent. Okay. We go back to COINTELPRO.
Okay.
You're an agent. You're setting up Malcolm X. You're setting up Martin Luther King. You're setting up Fred Hampton. You're setting up. So I think, and again, this is my personal opinion.
Okay.
That
you're sharing with 30,000 people on 90.7 WTCC live across Western Massachusetts.
Yeah, and this is my personal opinion. That's why I want to say it's my personal opinion.
Shout out to Miss Jackson. And my brother Drake and Brown says, what's up, Drake? Mr. Brown says, so what are we supposed to do? As Brother Moss asked, should we wait and see how many can we afford to lose? So how do we do that?
Me personally, I'm taking a wait, look, and see approach. You know, your spidey sense has to start tingling on danger when they're pushing this on the Black community. Name any other community that you see out there that they're pushing this on. Why us? Why are we the guinea pigs?
So what you're saying is we should definitely take historical considerations.
Absolutely. Listen, and people are tired about hearing about the Tuskegee. There are a lot of other examples out there where, you know, you've got Black faces knocking on doors, advocating for certain, drugs or certain therapeutic measures and saying that it's good, knowing that it's not good. So, like, for example, like even in Australia, there was some issues with the COVID testing, creating positives, HIV positive, in the test subjects that took the vaccine. There was an interview with a nurse from Chattanooga who just took the COVID vaccine, and she gets on the mic and she's doing a press conference, and she faints at the press conference. But of course, it's like, oh, well, she was tired or whatever. It's like, come on. I mean, there's too many coincidences.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're part of the conversation. Go ahead.
Did you guys see that live video that they was like showing somebody getting the vaccine and they didn't push the needle in all the way?
And
did y'all see those?
No, I didn't see that. But, you know, when you say that, that reminds me of incidences where people were going to the hospital to get COVID testing. And they weren't necessarily getting any tests. The doctor just looked at them and said, you had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I heard about that.
And then incidences where they tried to put Black nurses to deal with COVID patients and not anybody else. And even Black nurses who had pre-existing conditions, whether diabetes or asthma or whatever, which you're not supposed to do that. And the hospital still did that. But what I want to pivot
and then they said, I just saw a couple of days ago, supposedly found
you got to talk louder so they can hear you on the air.
Yeah, what you were saying?
I said I heard a couple of days ago, or was it yesterday, that supposedly they found a new strand?
Yeah, up in England, I believe it was, and they started closing the border. Look, when you say underserved, underprivileged, maligned communities need to get this drug first. Those are all euphemisms for basically saying Black. So all of a sudden, you know, we're talking about reparations. We're talking about eliminating the qualified immunity. We're talking about fairness in banking and housing and environment, et cetera, et cetera. And you don't want to do that, America. But you want to help Black people with this COVID vaccine.
So, all right, here's the other side. And my man, Donnie Wright, I spoke to him this morning, and he posed this question.
Donnie Wright's a good dude. I love that dude.
He is. He said, so, you know, we see the large number of Black people succumbing to this particular virus. It's a debilitating disease. And he says, so now America is finally saying, okay, Black people, we're recognizing the healthcare disparities. We want to fix that. We want to make sure that Black people, Black communities are getting the vaccine so that we can curb those numbers. And we're complaining. So what happens if they make this vaccine and they offer it to everybody but us? So we're complaining because we're going first, but then we complain when we're last, as Donnie had put it earlier. You know, how do we respond to a situation like that? What happens if this vaccine is effective and then we turn it down because of our distrust of medical institutions based on, I'm going to say the medical industry, based on things that have happened in the past, the polio vaccination, smallpox vaccination, the Tuskegee experiment,
so on and so forth.
So there's been so many of them. So I get it, but how long do we wait to find out?
Okay, so the Donnie Wright situation is a great example of when you disagree with the person's premise, but you're not disagreeing with the person in general. When we talk about debate, what I initially
what
what I initially talked about. So
you attack the idea, not the individual.
Attacking the idea, not the individual. So now the medical industry all of a sudden is taking care, looking at this, looking at Black people. They want to do something good. The police in Chicago just pulled out a woman naked, Black woman naked out of her apartment, broke into her apartment. It was the wrong apartment. We've been talking about police brutality for many years. A lot of Black people die in that scenario. Mm-hmm. So America gets to pick and choose what cause they want to go after and they want to address.
Yeah, but when you say medical professionals are different from law enforcement professionals.
They're all professionals.
They are, but here's the thing. If we take all of America and throw it into one basket, especially when there are lives at stake.
There's lives always at stake.
I'm falling off a cliff, or my car, I got into a car accident, my car is about to blow up. I can't get out because the seatbelt's stuck. A police officer comes and I'm just like, nope, I'm not getting out of this burning car because you're a police officer. If someone's extending a hand and they're offering help, do we tell them no?
Is that a genuine extension of a hand, or is there any nefarious?
If the car is on fire and my life is in danger, do I have time to consider whether or not it's genuine or not? Or do I just say, pull me out and then we'll figure it out?
Okay, right. So let me address it this way. So you talked about Black people disproportionately.
I'm allergic to death.
I don't know if I want to die with you.
Oh, so you're gonna take it?
Not you personally, but I'm saying the person that's with you.
I don't want to die with you now. I don't want to.
She takes public transportation, so she ain't even in the car. She's on the bus.
All right.
So
I was using the situation
when you go
and applying myself.
Go ahead.
when you talk about that, right?
Yep.
So they're saying Black people are disproportionately affected by this.
Right.
The statistics say that, right?
Stats say that.
So stats can be
manipulated
depending on yeah. So here's an example of that. You got 10 people in a room. 8 people are white and 2 people are Black. Mm-hmm. 7 out of the 8 white people contract COVID. And then 1 out of the 2 Black people contract COVID. But based on that statistic, 50% of the Black population. But you see how it's skewed. Now, here's another example, and I want you to tell it because I remember you telling me this. Remember that saying that was saying there was more Black men in prison than in college? Mm-hmm. And how was that statistic manipulated?
Oh, God. They twisted that in so many ways. They said 1 out of every 4 Black men were in jail, and they were saying that there were more Black men in prison than in college. Mm-hmm. What they did was they took 1 semester, they took X amount of schools for their sample pool, and then they put that up against every Black man locked up in the prison system, regardless of age. So when you take that astronomical figure and you compare it to 1 semester of Black men in college who fit a certain age demographic, it was completely skewed. And we had a lot of Black people running around saying, 1 out of every 4 Black men going to jail. And there are more Black men in college. We got to do better. And it's like, no, we were doing better. Actually, our numbers are going up. Black women at the time were the largest, the fastest growing population on college campuses.
Still are.
And Black men weren't too far behind, white women. So it's kind of like our numbers were increasing, but the numbers were manipulated. Drayton Brown says, look, I question everything, then I research it. Sometimes you have to accept help for what it is, not try to put a controversy behind everything. That's all I'm saying. I'm not in a rush to get the vaccine. I'm not in a rush. But I'm not saying there's controversy behind it. I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with that. Everything is not Black. You know what? And there are a lot of people who feel that way, Drayton. They feel, this isn't necessarily the world against Black people. But when you take it, I'm going to flip my hat around. When you look at it from a historical perspective, I completely understand where Rob is coming from.
He's with it. If I had a hat, I was looking around.
Oh, yeah. So I get that. But I don't know. If I got a bully who's been beating me down every day, then all of a sudden he goes, I want to help you cross the street. I'm like, yo.
You don't know if you
So I understand where you're coming from. But to what degree of distrust should we have?
Okay.
It's a vaccine. Again, it's not just a Springfield thing. We're talking, worldwide. We're talking Black
That's
folks across
also
the country.
something that I was going to mention earlier because I was going to say I haven't felt like they were only forcing it on Black people. I felt like they was really forcing it on everybody.
Well,
That's how I felt.
Well, the media, I'm gonna say about 2-3 weeks ago, when they right around the election time, basically, you had what's his name, Biden, talking about African Americans and the COVID. I mean, it was on the Washington Post, the New York Post, the Times. It was on everything. There was a specific focus on the African American community.
Right.
The Surgeon General, who we haven't seen throughout,
Meme and Pepe.
right.
I'm just like more behind what was his name? Drayton
Brown, you're saying why not?
I'm more behind what he said. Like everything is not against Black people. That's what I feel.
Kenny Coop.
Well, I don't know. I think if you're a student, you're a student of history, specifically Black history, and you see all the atrocities that are committed, you see the world one way. If you're the person who dabbles and you learn Black history from, I'm not saying about you, and you learn Black history from Facebook statuses or Twitter, tweets and all that other stuff, you see the world completely different. It's different. You have a population of folks who are 60s babies who, the polio vaccinations. I lost a brother. My brother David.
About this earlier. I'm part of the cancels.
He got that vaccination. 2 weeks later, he was gone. Me personally, the vaccine, I'm like you, I'm going to wait and see what happens. Cats start growing 4 or 5 arms because they're rushing this vaccine. I need to wait and see. My man Kenny Coop says, my brothers, white folks are taking it. I'm a diabetic. I'm taking it too. Bro, you got to do what you got to do. And I agree with that. Drayton Brown says, I get it, D.Moss. I'm the militant brother. Yes, you are. So I researched the research. And then I researched that I'm not a yes man and never have been. I do not trust white America. I just don't think everything is controversial. You're absolutely right. Everything isn't controversial.
Everything's not controversial. But you said if that bully's beating you up every day and wants to help you cross the street, you're going to be wary.
It's like you're on both sides. It's like
and here's the other thing I wanted to.
Before you read that, let me just say this. A lot of it has to do with each individual's personal experience and their past interactions with white people in America. It helps to shape your worldview. I'm from Meriden, Connecticut. If anybody's familiar with Meriden, it's a town at the time, it was like 99.5% white. The rest were Black and Latinos. So it's kind of like we had Klan rallies in the middle of downtown. We had racist principals, racist guidance counselors, racist, you name it. Yeah. They were there. Okay. So my worldview is always going to be different. I didn't have the luxury of growing up in a city like Springfield.
That's understandable.
Y'all got Black neighborhoods. That's why I came up here to visit my brother. I'm like, I ain't leaving Springfield.
Not used to this.
No, I'm here.
What is this?
It's been 24 years. I ain't going nowhere.
You know what? I understand where you're coming from.
It's not all controversial, but a lot of it is shaped by our worldview. So you was going to read something.
Yeah, so when you talk about shape, a lot of people are like, well, the science says this and the science says that. Well, let me talk to you about a scientist, a biological scientist. His name is Carl von Linnaeus from 1707 to 1778. This was the guy who created the descriptions of races in the world. So he said Homo Americanus, reddish, choleric, obstinate, contented, and regulated by custom. So he's talking about the Native American or the indigenous people here in this country. Homo European, as white, fickle, sanguine, and governed by laws. Homo Asiaticus, as sallow, grave, dignified, avaricious, which is another way of saying greedy, ruled by opinion. Homo Afer, that's us, black, phlegmatic.
He called us mad homos, right?
Cunning, lazy, lustful, careless, and governed by caprice. Just, we can't control ourselves. There's no science behind this, but his scientific definitions from the late 1700s went on to create the basis of how we characterize race, Negroid, Caucasoid, Mongoloid.
And we took it at face value. We assumed it was science. And I get that. And I think that's one of the dangers. I think not one of the dangers. I think one of the challenges or concerns that people have with this vaccine. They're rushing it. One of the companies, this is the first time they've ever worked on a vaccine. Every other product that they attempted to push forward failed. So they've never had a successful product, and this is the first time. So it's kind of like I understand your concern, but then it still goes back to when you look at the number of people who are passing away or succumbing to this virus. How do you walk? What's the alternative? So if you tell people, be cautious, don't take it, take a step back. What are we offering in return? It's like, what's the alternative? Do we have anything that we could put on the table?
So I want to answer that in a second, but I want to go back to that 1 out of the 2 black people, 50% of the black people have contracted it, and the media will run with that. When you look at the community, the black community as a whole, over a quarter of black people in this country take public transportation. Most black people live in cities and metropolitan areas, so they're stacked on top of each other. A lot of black people don't have service jobs, frontline jobs, medical aid, medical assistants, working in retail, working in grocery stores, restaurants. They might not have that health care, and they definitely aren't in positions to work from home in many cases. So when you talk about disproportionate, we're right in the petri dish. So when you kind of roll back to the Spanish influenza that happened in the early 1900s, black people initially weren't getting sick from it because the towns and the communities were segregated. Whites were over here, blacks were over here. But as they needed black people to help in the hospitals, because they thought, oh, well, black people don't get it. Well, because they're not around you. Yeah. But as they started needing black people to help more in the hospitals, stuff like that, they started contracting it. Right. So, when you talk about disproportionate, there's those factors that are in here. Now, the other thing to talk about, like, what's the alternative? Health. How do you naturally boost your immune system?
But I think Justin broke down the immune system thing. Building up your immune system. This virus uses your immune system against you. So to build it up, if it attacks you, it puts you in a worse situation.
And you know what? And that's a good example because I'm not an expert on it. And I'm only giving my opinion.
90.7 WTCC FM broadcasting live, not from the campus of Springfield Technical Community College. D.Moss, NBS Malay, Rob Jones. Okay. Go ahead, Rob.
So, I'm not an opinion on it, and I'm not out here trying to profess that, black people don't take the vaccine. If you feel like my boy from Southern, Kenny Coop, is like, I'm taking it, then you're well within your rights. But I'm just saying, just think about just the nature of how this is being marketed. And another thing to think about, too, it's not really foundational black Americans on the front lines. It's like Africans and Caribbeans are, they got black skin. So white America's putting them out because, we're a monolith. Okay. Putting them out, saying, hey, look, I got the vaccine, so everyone, it's safe. There's a difference in a dichotomy there, and maybe that's another conversation.
Yeah, that's another conversation. You think that's being done as a means to splinter the black community in terms of, well, it's already splintered in terms of Caribbean, African American, Afro Brits. So
yeah, again, it's a means to pacify, throw black skin, doesn't matter what the lineage is, and say, come on, black people, let's do it.
So why do you think they need us to take this vaccine so bad? Why? What's your theory on that?
My theory is I think they want to use us as guinea pigs to kind of see, what the pathology is, how it's going to impact the body, how is our melanin going to impact how this virus interacts within our body. And they're going to, they want to take a wait, look, and see. And it's the same approach they've taken over the centuries of experimenting on us. Black people just didn't wake up yesterday and say, oh, we distrust the medical system, or we just distrust law enforcement and the courts. This stuff has been simmering for centuries.
Do you think black people don't take black history seriously? Or history of America seriously?
No, I don't think so. And that's an interesting question because I was literally thinking about that today. I never had in school, I never had a black history class. I've had Western civilization. I've had U.S. history.
11th grade.
I've had Russian.
That's
history.
exactly why nobody takes it seriously.
I've had Mediterranean history. So I think the same poison that's poisoning black people as a community also poisons white people. So when you when you get this European history, Eurocentric history from preschool and even before that, all the way up through college, that's all you know. So it's kind of like, well, why do I have to know anything else?
Isn't that like myth of the Superman, when you condition one group to think that they're head and shoulders above the rest of the world? When they deal with hard times and they can't understand why they're not survivable. You look at mass suicides like during the Great Depression. And then on the other side, you have black people who swear that those people are super people. We assume that each and every one of them are wealthy. They're all super intelligent. They always know more than us. And matter of fact, their ice is even colder than ours. So I think history is critical in terms of getting people to understand why there are people who have concerns with this vaccine. Why, just not, 2 years ago, we were talking about healthcare disparities when Serena was talking about her experience after, having a child. And when they were looking at the number of black women who were, the mortality rate was through the roof. It still is. So we went from that to everybody take the vaccine because the medical institution is going to treat us all fairly. We still have black people who are going to get medical attention. And the other thing is, it's not just the vaccine. I guess the vaccine might just be the least of my worries. I think the service delivery within healthcare institutions is completely different. You can walk in with COVID symptoms. Doesn't mean that they're going to let you in. Doesn't mean you're going to get tested. Doesn't mean you're going to be treated. You can walk in let me say this. You can walk in having heart problems, and they're going to ask you, do you do cocaine? You fit the profile for someone who does drugs. I mean, they do everything except for treat the reason why you came in. But go ahead.
And to amplify what you're saying, the disparities in how healthcare is dispensed in the black community, it goes beyond, you would think, oh, well, if you're a black person and you're poor. No, It doesn't matter if you're poor, if you're rich, if you don't have healthcare, if you do have healthcare, you're treated the same. And, and that, black women can take more pain, where black men can take more pain.
I asked you earlier, what's the difference between a black medical professional and a public safety professional? It really isn't. A bigot with a stethoscope he's just as dangerous as a bigot with a badge. So I'm going to read some of the comments. Drake and Brown, my brother, said, I learned in the mosque, then I learned in school, then I learned at home. So I know a lot more about black history than most brothers I knew. I knew much more about it to the point where I was put out of school at one point because of my knowledge about history. So again, I don't trust white America, but I don't believe that everything is conspiracy. Okay. And I grew up in Newark. We just had Faraji Salim from Newark. And I grew up in Newark, New Jersey during the times of the riots when they were burning Jersey down. So I hear what you're saying. So I was brought up in the movement. My father was asked from Muhammad's Mosque because it was something from Muhammad's Mosque because of the movement. I wasn't brought up sweet and innocent. I was brought up with self-knowledge. That's dope. I wish more people were. Sin one, I agree. I don't trust the government, period. They have lied to us since day one. How do we know the government officials really took that shot? They have been brainwashing us for years with what the media puts out there. What is the real motive? They say about 320,000 deaths due to COVID. How many people really died from COVID, though? How accurate are these stats? My friend passed away, for example, this year. They stated it was due to COVID, but yet never came near his body and never tested. Oh, man, it went out. Never tested or, I'm assuming, was examined. She says, to kill us like they have been for years, just like we have a liquor store in every corner in the hoods, just like they brought drugs into our communities. Zena Murray says, I share the same feeling about pushing the vaccine. I don't trust something that was created so fast, but I have never been one to get flu shots either. Why the push? Why create a vaccine instead of a treatment? More people have died from flu and never seen a push for it until COVID. Sin one, watch, she says, and for those in Radio Land, we're reading comments off of Facebook. Watch, they're going to use it eventually to control us. Like, hey, it's your choice to get the vaccine, but guess what? You want to be allowed to buy groceries, go see the doctor, etc. Just my opinion, but I pray it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Oh my God, I wasn't trying to be the one to bring that up.
Yeah, that's the next progression.
Y'all know those movies that they have, like, you know, like they got this little time watch on their arm. I think there's one movie called like In Time or something.
Is that where they charge you for the amount of time you
breathe? And you gotta use your time for everything. Like, it's gonna be something like that.
It's like a sci-fi movie. The thing is, we have a lot of folks who work in the healthcare industry who they're mandated. I'm hearing from folks who are saying that they have to get this vaccination in order to go to work. If you work in a healthcare facility, anything, you have to get the vaccine in order to go to work. So eventually, it'll be like that across the board. So I agree with you. I agree with someone when she says eventually that's going to happen. So there are a number of things that we should be. Here's my only concern. It's like again, like everybody else, I'm in the middle. So Rob, I completely hear where you're coming from a historical perspective. I don't know if it's technically, Drayton, I'm gonna say I don't know if it's technically. I don't know if I can say it's conspiracy theory, because when we talk about history, these are things that actually took place. People say, they talk about Operation Move. You're familiar with that down in Philadelphia. Yeah. They literally dropped bombs on us. They called Birmingham Bombingham. They literally dropped bombs on us. That's a fact. Tuskegee experiment. My dad from Tuscaloosa, Notasulga County. He's from Tuskegee. He was injected with the syphilis thing, and it impacted all of us. Our vision is horrible. He died with syphilis. Now, he didn't die from it, but he died with it. That was my father. So we talk about the Tuskegee experiment. People say, why we keep talking about that? Because it was the most recently documented case. And it lasted for 40 years. They were injecting them brothers.
And there was a case before that.
There was a bunch of cases, but this one is just highly documented. So when we say, well, that stuff isn't always about blacks. My dad used to say when they came to the door, when he got his injection, they were knocking on doors and they were telling people that it was mandatory and that there was an epidemic and that they had to do it. He got it. His uncle, his brother got it. Other family members got it. Friends got it. So when we talk about this, we don't want to put a face on it. For me, when we talk about the Tuskegee experiment, it's personal. Because we're looking at our dad's birth certificate, his medical, all the medical stuff. It talks about, the heart problems, the syphilis. We're like, the syphilis. He talked about that. So the impact on family when you give birth, all that stuff. So we talk about the vaccinations back in the 60s, and we got those big round circles on our shoulders. Man, when you look at the number of, black children and babies that died from those vaccinations, that's not conspiracy theory. And Drayton, I'm not debating with you, brother. I see what you're writing. I'm going to read it in a second. I'm just throwing it out there. Because someone else said the other day that these are conspiracy theories. And I'm like, no.
It's always conspiracy theories when it's black. Why is it that? What, do you notice that?
It's not even. No,
unless you talk about
I think it's not even so much about how white people see the world. I think it's about how we see the world. And I think that's why I say history is critical, because the things we talk about are things that are family members. And we can't discount our personal experiences in terms of our interactions with white people, the medical industry, the political world. We cannot discount any of that. So it's real. It's kind of like I haven't been vaccinated since, they gave my brother the needle. He died. My mother refused to let us get vaccinated. She had all types of religious reasons when we went to school. So it's kind of like, I ain't had nothing. I'm healthy. Thank God for that. But it's kind of like we got to take these things into consideration. They've been putting poison in our bodies. Man, go hang out at hospitals and see how many people are not diagnosed the way they were supposed to. My older brother, when Doug died, you have food poisoning. They gave him 4 different things before they finally figured out that he was in stage 4 cancer. So we have to talk about medical service delivery. We have to look at these doctors, these nurses, these so-called scientists and researchers. We have to look at how they view black people. When we looked at what took place in Charlottesville, let me tell you, when we had them thousands of white kids walk around with tiki torches, those were doctors, lawyers, accountants. They were your mechanics. Man, we talk about the Proud Boys. Some of these are professional folks that we go to for help every day. And these are the same people who are saying, after they take off their Proud Boy vest and they go back home and, this guy's a publisher of a newspaper. That one's an editor of a newspaper. There's a bunch of journalists right there and they're writing about this and they're selling us this. And we're saying, well, nah, it ain't just about that. Listen, man, they've been trying to get rid of black people for a long time. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Eugenics.
I look at the stuff that actually happened. They said COINTELPRO was I remember being a kid. Like Drayton, I'm around back in the '60s when I remember when Waterbury was on fire. It's like this. They were saying at the time, black people were looking at the Panthers like they were the worst thing that happened to the black community. And they were saying that when they were saying the government's coming after them, people accused them of being conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
And then we find out that the government really was after them.
Yeah.
When we look at what, the Trump administration and the Obama administration was black identity extremists. Listen, man, on my job, they were treating me like I was a black identity extremist. That stuff's not theory. It's real. You'd be surprised how many of us have FBI files. How does this tie into the vaccines? These are the same people who are telling us that we need vaccines.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. Walmart, Bill Gates, what in the world all these people got to do with vaccines? Mm-hmm. So with that, I'm going to go back to the comments. We're on Facebook. We're on live, 90.7 WTCC FM. Rob, I feel like I'm doing your job because you were coming on the anti-vaccine, and I'm like in the middle.
I'm trying to talk, and you like blah, blah, you like big and loud.
Listen, I got this thing about our history, man. So let's read some comments.
Okay.
I think we read Zena. I'm going to read it again. I share the same feeling about pushing the vaccine. I don't trust something that was created so fast, but I've never been one to get the flu shot either. Right. Why the push? Why create a vaccine instead of a treatment? More people have died from flu and never seen a push for it until COVID. And I read that again because I think, what she asked is critical. Said one, watch, they're going to use it eventually to control us. I think I read that one. Drayton Brown says true. Right, that's a perfect example of control. Let's see. My brother Drayton says, again, I do not trust white America, and everything you named off plus more is true. So, like I said, I'm not in a rush to get it. Brother, I'm with you. I'm not in a rush. I'm not a trial patient. I'm not, I don't want to go on trial, and I want to be part of a trial. I just don't think everything is so ominous. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. Okay, that's cool.
Well, here's one thing.
Let me finish these comments, and you can jump right in. I'd like to make sure we get the comments in there.
Gotcha.
It's crazy. I never got one, and I never got a flu shot. That's why I'm not in a rush to get this shot. I just, again, don't think. Man, if you tell me one more time that everything is ominous, Sheila Van said, so true. One said, why they are not looking into more holistic alternatives. Before the big pharma movement with Rockefeller, more people relied on natural remedies, for example.
Yeah.
The medical industry is the devil. All they care about is profits. They don't care about us. In that respect, they don't care about black, white, blue, brown. They just care about green. They're talking about population control and world control. Why are they okay? And then my brother says, truth, brother. So it's interesting. Rob, you were going to say something?
So I'm going to pivot in a second. But before that, for the people who are watching this, if I had to choose a book for you to get that history that Daryl's talking about, how important that history is, Medical Apartheid by Harriet Washington. She's got a few other books too. This book chronicles like from the 1500s all the way up to the 2000s on experimentations, therapeutic and non-therapeutic, of black people. All right, it's over 400 pages, chock full of information, facts of what actually has happened and continues to happen. So, get this, medical apartheid. The other thing in terms of pivoting, and it kind of ties into what Sin One was saying. I don't know if people are aware that there's a bill right now, and the bill actually it's not right now. It was introduced back in 2019 called B230171. And basically that is a bill that circumvents parental consent and parental knowledge for vaccinations for children as young as 11. So 11 years old going up. And circumventing the parental consent so they can come in. Yeah, thank you. They can come in. The school nurse can say, okay, come in, you got to take this vaccine. I don't want to take this vaccine. I got to talk to my mommy. I got to talk to my daddy. No, you got to take it. You can't go back to class if you don't take it. So they give your child this vaccine, and your child's 11 years old, and the school doesn't need to tell you, and the doctors don't need to tell you. And here's the other thing.
My baby come home with a needle mark in her arm. Lord have mercy, man.
Oh, it's over.
Drayton, my 11-year-old let my baby come home with a needle mark in her arm, and I didn't get permission. You're going to have to get some money up to get me out of jail. That's going to be crazy.
Listen, and there's no way
Can you imagine?
because the insurance companies, if you have insurance, you get an EOB in the mail, an explanation of benefits. In that explanation of benefits, there won't even be any indication that they got a vaccine shot. So not only does the school doesn't need to tell you, the doctors don't need to tell you, and there is no written documentation on the fact that your child got some sort of shot, vaccine. Yeah. And this is just not for COVID. I mean, they're pushing it right now for COVID, but this is for any HPV, flu, whatever vaccine. They're going to be pushing for this, all right? And it also circumvents or supersedes, rather, existing laws in terms of consent and like HIPAA laws and notification and things like that. This law will supersede that. Now, it's in D.C., and I don't know if the mayor signed it or not, but there's a bill like this proposed in New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Mass, Colorado, Illinois, and some other states. Now, what's important about that is some states have a medical exemption from vaccines and also a religious exemption. And some states even go as far as having a philosophical exemption. California used to have a medical and religious. They got rid of that. More close to home, New York used to have a medical and religious exemption. The legislators got rid of that. So, what kind of trend are we seeing here? And these states are, I pointed out these Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Mass, because they're neighbors of ours. And usually when things happen in California, California being the largest GDP in the nation, I think it's like fourth in the world, $4 trillion, and Texas is the second one. But when you look at California, when laws and things are passed in California, they tend to migrate eastward. Yeah. So again, there's this bill, that would circumvent parent consent on vaccinations. Now, in 1986, there was an immunity for pharma companies against litigation for vaccines. So you can't sue, and this one goes back to 1986. You can't sue a pharmaceutical company if a vaccine caused, paralysis or,
any hard side effects,
any kind of side effects.
As in the case of my brother, you can die from it, and they're not liable. They're not liable.
But it's crazy.
You have life insurance.
But it's crazy because they're using kids as guinea pigs here. So, I mean, I hope this stuff doesn't get signed into law. And I had someone talking to me, well, what about the Hippocratic Oath? The Hippocratic Oath is not legally binding. It's a moral oath. There's nothing legal about it. So that's what I really wanted to say about that. And then I want to talk about the play some music, stuff like that. But then I want to talk about the fact that there's no systemic racism in the Springfield Police Department.
Man, listen, first let's make sure that we close this off before we jump. Let me read some more of the comments. Let's see. Thank you, Sin. I ain't trying to go nowhere. Oh, I ain't rushing. I ain't going nowhere.
The title of the book.
The title of the book I had posted. It's Medical Apartheid. I'll keep that up there for the duration. Did that. Hell no, won't happen in my school. I'm with you, Lisa. My brother Drayton says, yeah, we're going to have a problem with me and mine. Yeah, I recently read a portion of that bill in New York. They trying to make it mandatory, and if you don't get the shot and your kids don't get it first, your kids can't go to school, and you might not be able to go back to work. And if you're getting any type of federal assistance, food stamps, Medicaid, they're going to suspend that until you get the shot. So this is getting real crazy. My brother Kitty Coop, I believe Connecticut has the religious exempt. Sin one, yeah, they sent me a letter. They sent me a letter from my son's school stating that he needs to take a flu shot. Now it's not an option. Sorry. Whew, I get my reading skills up.
Ask him what state she's in.
Sin, what state are you in? When I have never given him one. Yes, Rob, that's crazy. That's why I'd rather homeschool my child. There's no way they can force me to give my son a vaccine shot when my son does not need it. He never gets sick and is done just fine without the flu shot. So what does that mean now for my son if the school ever gets back into schools? That means my son cannot get a public education. You're absolutely right. Thanks, Coop. Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, and it's scary. So it's like when we talk about the vaccine, it may not be about nothing ominous as Drayton says, but it's significant because it's like, well, why are we changing all these laws around? Why are we restructuring? 42, the code that you're talking about is 42 U.S. Code 300AA-22 Standards of Responsibility. And it talks about no vaccine manufacturer shall be liable in a civil action for damages arising from a vaccine-related injury or death associated with the administration of a vaccine. If the injury or death resulted from side effects that were unavoidable, even though the vaccine was properly prepared and was accompanied by proper directions and warnings. So you got to go and read it. It's really interesting. It's kind of like this thing is brand new. You have 3 companies that are really about to set out these vaccines that I know of. There may be 4. I think there's 3 or 4. One of them have never had any successful products. And now they flipped over to the vaccine, and someone says, well, they're better prepared now than ever before because they failed so many times. I'm like,
come on, man. Then you take it.
Yo, it's the Abe Lincoln approach. Well, at first you don't succeed, try again.
Try again.
And let's see how many people pass away from it. So I think I'm just as afraid of the vaccine as I am getting the COVID.
That's like dipping yourself in seal fat and swimming across Madagascar during Shark Week.
So we're about to switch conversations. If you want to call in, we can see if this phone thing works. Telephone number is 413-218-6024. Express yourself.
Let me answer Sin's question. Sin, Massachusetts has a medical or religious exemption. I know Muslims, people who are Muslims, fill out a form for religious exemption, and I believe Jehovah's Witnesses fill out the form for religious exemption. So the state of Mass does have medical and religious exemption. Is written in the state law. So the fact you're in Massachusetts, you can send, what you have to do is write your school and say, I'm exercising religious exemption. We're blank religion, and my son's not getting the flu shot.
You see all that, blah, 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 blah. You sound like the commissioner. Blah, 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 blah. I don't see racism, so it doesn't exist. Blah, 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 blah. All right, y'all. This is 90.7 WTCC FM. We are live on the air. I know you want to talk about Commissioner Clapp rule. Can we hold off till next week until that op-ed is complete? Then we can come back and we can blow out the water because we're still getting information. Information is still coming in. Just so folks know what we're talking about, the city of Springfield, the mayor and his administration, they had a conversation, a roundtable discussion addressing the Department of Justice report and the updates, letting people know that, trying to make people feel secure and comfortable knowing that the city is working on its systemic racism problem. However, during the middle of that meeting, Commissioner Cheryl Clapprood, the police commissioner, states, I don't see, what did she say? I don't see racism. I don't see systemic racism. Systemic racism doesn't exist. And then she went on talking about all the trainings that they do. And I'm like, systemic racism doesn't exist where? In what world or what galaxy? So
must be nice. Wow. Was that Life Jennings?
Must be nice. Yo, close your eyes. I don't see Rob. Therefore, Rob does not exist. Yo, it's absolutely insane. But we're going to come back. We're going to address that next Monday. You'll have information, and he'll have information, and I have information. But Rob, anything else you want to break down? Because I know you got a 9:30 bedtime curfew.
Yeah,
And according to my watch, it's dark outside.
34 minutes past my curfew. So I've been seeing a lot of posts on social media about, we're getting the $600, y'all. Yeah, I mean, okay, that mess is already spent. So they talk about, we didn't have the money. The CARES legislation, okay? So you're talking about $1 trillion in the spending bill added to the legislation. Right. So you didn't have the money, but within that legislation, like all that, remember that saying, but pork, all that fat?
Yep.
So you've got $65 million for salmon recovery in the Pacific. That's in that bill.
Hey, man, I love a good salmon.
And most of it is farm raised, which isn't good. You want to do wild caught. And then you've got $643 million for international communication activities in the Middle East. Then you have 116 million in for the Export-Import Bank.
For a bank.
Yeah. Export-Import.
They can't get rid of our student loans, but they can cover an export.
But they're going to get rid of $10,000 of the student loan, and that's going to decrease the income disparity.
$10,000.
Yeah.
No.
And then there's a lot of other things, but these things kind of stuck out.
Go for it.
And there's $118 million given to the World Health Organization, an organization that sat on the COVID virus story for like 2 or 3 weeks at the behest of China, but that's a whole nother story. So also in that bipartisan proposal, at this point, there was nothing in here for direct monies to U.S. citizens. Nothing in at this point. That was added in at the end as a last minute.
One of these conversations, let's talk about corporate welfare. Because that's the thing we don't talk about. We look at folks who have Medicaid. We look at people with their, what's that, EBT card?
Yeah.
We look at all that stuff and we criticize them. All my tax dollars are going right there. And it's like, no.
No, they're going to help the salmon recovery in the Pacific. And when you talk about corporate welfare, like, just think about how long this took to get this done, right?
Yep.
The military came out and said, we need some COVID funding. That was, those billions and billions and billions of dollars was decided.
We can talk about Reagan Star Wars systems, but we'll save that for another day because we have our other sister waiting for her interview.
All right.
Anything else you got, brother?
You just told me. We got Miss Bernard waiting. And I don't want to keep her waiting any longer.
All right. Well, I want to thank you. That was the Monday Night Report.
Yeah, whatever.
That was the Monday Night Report with my brother Rob Jones. SCSU was in the house.
No, don't be committing me to, don't do that.
You just did it.
Don't commit me to that.
You just did it to yourself.
All right, young lady, get in the seat.
It was good to see you.
That's my seat. I'm in the driver's seat.
I'm getting back on my spot. Hopefully he didn't fart a little much.
Oh, there you go. 90.7 WTCC FM. My name is D.Moss.
Oh my God.
D.Moss, NBS Malay. My man Rob Jones just finished. We have, say her name again? Karen. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Karen.
Did I say it wrong?
Bernard.
Did I say it wrong?
She's gonna come on.
It's Karen, yeah.
Oh, okay.
First, I gotta play my favorite song so we can transition right into the interview with you. Is that cool?
That's fine.
All right. This is my song. If I don't play this song for all of our listeners in radio world,
let me get in my position.
This song is called Safe. This is one of them joints you put on when you're driving.
I do it.
And I think it's like, just my chair.
Okay.
He's like 6'6" and like 300 pounds, and me getting into this chair, like I feel like it's dented.
Oh my God! I'm telling them what you said.
Listen,
that is
all right.
So
listen,
rude.
One, you have a good night. Listen, man. So this is my song. I think this might be one of the dopest songs out.
Yes.
And I ain't talking about in the city of Springfield. I think across the country.
What are these small people saying?
He's talking junk about you.
This song right here. It's called Safe. It's by Macway. Make sure you support that brother. Download his music. Here it is, y'all. Macway.
Relax. Yeah, this song is dope. Get it. Alright, I got you. Look, we gotta get in the chair. We gotta drive.
Getting that audio. You be driving like this, Rob. You're like, yeah.
I got to see all the way back,
We
man.
gotta get in the chair. Wait. Don't forget, this is my side,
Yeah, Macway, safe.
Sorry. I gotta hold my breath.
All the times that you say that you want to hurt.
Oh my God.
Showing that ass, girl, you don't know
I'm
that.
driving right now. They're gonna sit here and walk away.
All the things that you need,
How
that
do you
is
get
all
out the
one
car like that?
place.
What happened?
You'll
You get out
understand
the
how
car.
love works, man.
Why the car was moving too?
All the times that you said that you
I
want to
see
hurt.
no safety.
Showing that ass, girl,
No
you don't know that.
No, safe.
All the things that you need,
By
that is all
Macway.
one place.
Yeah, place.
Said I just say
When I'm with you.
Listen, we gotta remember next time, give you my whole heart.
I'm gonna write it down.
That's for real.
If I'm with you,
Feel like
myself.
Yeah, it's not on here.
There's no
Back
more
on where?
games.
No, he didn't. It's not there yet.
Oh, he might not have did it. It's brand new.
Yeah, he didn't upload it.
What you want, being talking about
You
that
gotta send me that, man. I'll send it to you. This is dope.
and the most make love to you satisfied.
That's see if Orion is on there.
Jesus boy,
Orion
tell me which piece of appetite.
is that
Connect to the
handwriting?
skies like the satellite.
No.
I don't want to be the reason why you
Shot
start
in
at
there
night.
real
Orion's son's on there. I got it.
We can stop right now. I know you scared of heights.
Alright, I gotta go
Everything
put my
that you want
lungs,
always in the sight.
get some real fresh air in there
You
Exactly.
ain't gotta slow
because they've
down
been
with your
polluted from
life.
Flint,
I
Michigan.
feel safe.
When I'm with you, give you my whole life. I feel so
Got it.
like 2 lives and peace out here.
Wouldn't know how to
Yo, send me that song, kid.
if I
I'm on the air right now. I can't send it now.
He wanna be in the car with the new love.
There's no more games. No, you would rather go. Then stay the same.
What?
That's how you do
Thanks, it's coming right now.
it. Okay.
I feel like he just needed a falsetto up in this.
When I'm with you,
What?
what?
What did I do? Wouldn't know how to go. If I want you,
This song is so dope.
I make that change. There's no more games.
Get up out my way.
Don't stay the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Background sounds.
Get up on my
Background
way.
sounds of my man Mac Wade. The joint's called Safe. That's my joint right there, y'all. Everybody got to have a theme song. I think that's going to be my theme song for 2021. 2020 is over.
Get up on my
The door
way.
is closed. Locks, chains,
Like check.
brick walls are up. 2020 is over. Let's move right into 2021. Let's do this thing right. All right, y'all. We're going to shift gears.
With it.
We're about to get into a live conversation with Karen Bernard. How you doing, sis?
I'm doing good. How are we doing tonight?
Man, listen, I woke up breathing. I'm feeling good, and I'm about to. Ooh, I like that artwork behind you with the three sisters.
Oh, do you see it? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Wait, I gotta ask her a question. Did you
Okay.
wake up feeling like super energetic today?
I did. I did feel like I was ready to take on the world a little bit more than normal.
Right.
That's what I'm
I
talking
felt like I couldn't even go to sleep, and then when I did finally wake up, I could not stop writing. It was just like
I did finally wake up.
Like I just got a new superpower today.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Legit though.
Superpowers?
Nah, I didn't get my superpowers, man. Listen, man.
Yeah, you just said you got your
Listen.
theme song.
Black women are my superpower. You don't know that?
Okay.
Okay.
Say that.
You don't know that?
Say that.
Listen, man, that's
Say
my
that.
superpower. That's my superpower right there.
All right.
They stay
Okay, so
charged
you
up.
got So what Danielle said the other day, Danielle said, shout out to Danielle because that's my girl. Shout out to Noelle because that's my
Mr.
girl.
Quest is
Shout
out
out
there.
to Jess. Shout out to Vicky because y'all is all both. All right, so anyway, so Danielle said the other day, listen, we all was born with these superpowers, that right? That's what she said. So like, y'all go check her out. Like, she's mad funny. So like, she said we just getting an upgrade. So
Right.
if you know, you know. Okay.
All right. So let's Mr. Bernard, talk to us, man. You're an artist. For those who are unfamiliar with you and your work, like I'm brand new to you, tell us all about it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do my little introduction. My name is Karen Bernard, also known as the Last Karenina, because after me there will be no other. Okay,
Wait, you
like
gotta say that again. You gotta say it again. It's slower.
Damn.
Like, because that was bomb. I love when you
Damn.
say that.
Okay.
One more
So
time.
my name is Corinne Bernard, also known as the last Karenina, because after me there will be no other. And
Exactly.
I'm a Karenina, and I'm the only one of my kind. And it's just like the overall message I like to deliver, um, to introduce my art, because it's literally the embodiment of me and my experiences and the people that I interact with, since the beginning of the Karenina. So,
Word.
um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Say that.
Mhm.
That's when Daryl was supposed to go, period. He ain't do it.
Period.
Ridiculous. He was supposed to
Period.
Yeah.
go, period. Okay.
Yeah. So I mostly do like acrylic art, acrylic painting. Uh I've always done art my entire life. I started out with pencil and then moved on to charcoal and pastel, and then I want to say like around 2010, 2011, I just stopped doing art. Everything just paused. My mother had passed away in 2010, and I was really like at a crossroad because I thought I had everything figured out with who I was going to be when I got older and started pursuing like my career. And when like my mom passed away, everything kind of shifted, and I got to a place where I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
And I feel like I the because when I first originally started painting, I want to say it was around 2015, maybe 2016. And like, I never painted previously before. It was always something that I was afraid to pursue. It was something that, if you asked me about it, I was just like, nah, I'm sticking to my pencils. And then I just decided I was in my lowest point in my life, and I just said, let me try it. I'll start painting after work and see where it goes. And I eventually got good, and I started feeling confident, and there was a lot of people that saw my confidence and saw like, the my journey from starting out as one person and then becoming an artist. And it's been a very interesting journey, becoming an artist and being the person that I am today. I've had to, retract a couple things, change a little things about myself, and also just, above everything, not forget who I am and where I came from
Yeah.
and why I'm doing what I do. And it gets hard when you're an artist sometimes. Like, you get caught up in the analytics, the work portion of it, and you forget the overall reason of why you started it in the first place. And it was originally my place of peace. This is where I went to get all my emotions out. Like, if I was in a bad mood, like, I'm whipping out the paint brushes and the
Yes.
paint, and I'm just going
Absolutely.
sick. And then it would eventually come out looking like something like this, and then I would share it with people, and they was feeling it.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I said a lot. So
No, 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 no. You're good. What's the first thing that you painted after that big break? And you said, all right, I'm going to paint now. What's the first thing that you painted?
so the first thing that I painted coming off my hiatus was a zebra.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think I was just like hanging out with friends or whatever, and I had all the supplies because, when I would go to the art store, I would just buy a bunch of things. I wasn't gonna use it, but like I'd buy it just in case, just to look at it a couple times. And yeah, I said one day I was gonna, give it a shot, because the thing with the zebra, it's got a lot of different like shapes, and everything has to be symmetrical.
Mm-hmm.
And anything symmetrical has always been an issue with me. Like, I'm left-handed, everything I do is sloppy. So um yeah, so
I
I
saw that makeup live. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, you was good. I was enjoying it with you, though. That was,
yeah, like that.
I would never have the guts to do that. So,
Right, when it comes to makeup, I'm definitely
I was
not
good. You did good. You did good. You did
Thank
good.
you. Yeah,
Good.
but thinking back to that, I'm just like, ugh. In due
No,
time, I
that's
will be a
cool. You
guru
gotta
at
do
that too.
it. I like, you know what? That's one thing that I really like about you, like how free you are. Like, even when you used to come to the speaking shows and just used to sit there and paint, Like I like how
Yeah.
free
That's
spirited you are, and like how you just like like
Hmm.
you don't care who's around. Like what's up? Like I don't care who's watching. Y'all gonna get this makeup magic. Whatever I do, whatever. Like
Right,
I like
right.
I like people like that. Like who's just natural and don't think about what's gonna happen next. I'm just doing this because it makes me feel good right now. So what's up?
Yes,
That's what I
yes.
that's what I really like about you, and you can see that in your art too. You're just like so free, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes, definitely. Because I honestly, I try to live my life as free spirit as possible. Because I get real anxious thinking about the same old routine and doing everything on time and just staying on that one path
oh my god,
that is supposed to be the path to success. But my path to success is several squiggly lines all over the place.
exactly, in several colors and all of that. Speaking of,
Right.
I love your tie dye shirt. That is just fly. I
Yeah,
like it. Listen,
I
I'm
had
gonna. I'm
to.
Are you gonna get into that? Are you gonna get into painting clothes and stuff, or are you
um
stick to canvases?
I'm still experimenting with different type of merch. I do have a couple sweaters on my website. It's carinistaart.com. And I just took a painting that I did and created a print for it, and then ended up getting it made into a t-shirt through a company. And then I just bought them in bulk and said, hey, I'll just take these with me anywhere I go, and if anyone's interested.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's still on the come up, but I'm still experimenting with that.
Okay, so I want to ask about the entrepreneur side. So, like, is this what you're doing full time, or are you working on other things too?
Yeah, so at this time, I work full time as a mortgage processor. I was actually working as a mortgage processor when I decided to get into painting. Like, I don't want to say I was down on my luck, but like I just wasn't happy with how the direction my life was going, because I feel like I just completely dropped my goals and dreams of pursuing art as like a career.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still work full time as a mortgage processor, and then I do my painting part time, and
Mhm.
then hopefully transition into full time goes part time, and then the art goes full time.
that's what's up.
What
Yeah.
what's been like the I'm sorry, I know you probably
No,
want to
no, no.
ask a
Go
question.
for it. Go for
I
it.
just like while I'm thinking about it because I forget questions fast, so like but you see the way he's looking like she's just gonna ask all the questions.
No, I'm just really like to see what you're gonna say.
No,
See,
okay, here we
I'm
go.
digging it. I'm
No,
digging it. I'm
here
digging
we
it.
go. What's been the most difficult experience that you've had, like with being an artist?
Okay, so this is like my biggest challenge in life period is actually socializing with people. I'm naturally always like a turtle, like I'm ready to go in my shell, like
I never got that from you guys. Sorry.
yeah, and it's like I feel like all of the journeys that I've been through my life has led me to the point to being like this social butterfly, and in my head I'm just like, how though? Because like instantly my head goes, if I don't know you, or if I'm not used to your vibe or whatever, like I'm instantly nervous. I'm cautious of how I present myself to people, how I speak and things
Oh,
like that. And then I just end up being myself anyways, and
I
everything works out.
oh my god! And I know all different types of people come up to you, like especially if you're painting at an event, like speaking to you, like I don't know if
Hmm.
you've done that at other events or whatever, but I know like people come up to you and they're just like, "Hey, what is she making?" Like, do you get awkward when people are just watching you? Like, get away from me! Like, it's such a
Like at
difference.
yeah, at first I kind of had that kind of nervousness, like somebody looking over my shoulder. Because, like, I swear, like in high school, when I was drawing in my sketchbook, I used to hate people peeking over my shoulder. Like, I felt like I was getting judged without even like really trying to show what I could do before I could finish. But I don't know. I feel like over time you get used to it, and you get used to handling that certain situation and how to interact with people when you are preoccupied with painting something.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So I know a bunch of different artists, and I know like artists have certain strengths and weaknesses with like things that they draw. Like some artists have trouble drawing hands, some have trouble drawing faces. What is the toughest thing for you to draw that you're
This,
working on?
all right. The toughest thing that I would say for me is doing anything that requires like an extensive amount of detail. Like, I got past the hands, I got past the noses, anything with like the face and human body, I got that down pat. But it's the birds
For you?
and the peacocks and those
Oh,
intricate little details in the feathers. That's what I'm working on trying to perfect now. I'm shifting from people to animals and hopefully onto everything else.
that's awesome. That is so dope. What
Yeah.
what is what is your proudest moment of your artist career?
Oof. Okay. Like, I'm probably the worst person to ask this because I think every little experience is like a celebration. I get excited when I pass out a business card to somebody that I never met.
This is my
Like,
heart. You are me and I am you.
right.
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, like, I'll have an event come up and like maybe I won't sell any paintings, maybe I'll sell like mostly keychains. I do a bunch of merch like keychains, prints and all that. But you know, maybe I'll have like a night where I don't do well, maybe I'll make like $20. I still call it a good night because somebody learned my name, not Karen, they learned Corinne.
Oh my God. I want to talk about that day. Listen, she got me, dude. Like, let me tell you, I called her the wrong name. She said, it's current. I was like, I said it wrong?
Yeah. I hear you. I
But
do
it's
that
okay.
too. I do
Yes.
that too. When somebody say my name wrong, they be like, "Yo, Daryl." I'll be like, "My name is Daryl."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So I've been saying your name wrong this whole time?
Listen, my mother called me Daryl.
You
Mm.
put a whole accent to
But that's
it.
what she
Look
called me.
at that, Daryl.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Technically, I should be
How
telling
are me
people.
and Karen supposed to say your name? Daryl. How you say it?
Yeah, get real deep. Go. Daryl.
Daryl.
Oh, hold on. On this mic, Daryl.
Daryl.
I got talking to that one for her, this one for the radio.
Daryl. Daryl.
I'm only
I'm not gonna
joking.
get that deep with it.
I'm only joking. I'm just hating on you. I wish I did have one of them names where I had to correct people. Current.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
Current.
there's,
Oh, go
huh?
ahead. No. Say
Nah, I was saying your name, Current.
Oh, okay.
Current
Yeah,
Bernard.
there is a funny story surrounding why my name is spelled that way.
Okay,
Because I know why I know what it's spelled like. It's spelled like Karen
yep,
without the
that's what
P.
I thought. I was like, oh, I thought. Okay, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
nah, but my mom, she knew she wanted to name me Corinne,
Okay.
and she was obsessed with the spelling of the name Karina, but she didn't want to name me Karina. She wanted to name me Corinne. So
Right.
so she just bopped the A at the end and said, "This is Corinne Rochelle Bernard."
I like it. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. So I know you get all different types of reactions, like, because I know you do like commission paintings, and I know you do a lot of stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
so tell me about the the feeling that you had. I don't know. How do you explain it? The best reaction that somebody gave you that you made for them, or like, like, and tell me how you felt about it.
Oh man. Okay, so that happens a lot because I get a lot of commissions where people ask me to like paint one of their loved one that has passed on.
Yeah.
And every one of those stories I'm crying the whole time. It's taken me a couple weeks, a couple months to like even get, visualize the piece. But like I want to say the one that hit me like the hardest was when my best friend Sabrina, her little brother had passed away. I actually, it was just last year, last August. And like he was somebody that I known since he was like maybe 5, 6 years old. And like, I believe he was only 18 or 19 when he passed away. And like, that hit me deep. That's when I really just started looking at the state of the world and trying to figure out, okay, well, where am I on this plane? Like, how am I feeling about like the times moving on and seeing like people that you grew up with? your mother is one thing, but like now it's the people that you're growing up with that
Exactly.
is passing on. And it was like, and it wasn't like he was sick or anything. He got into an accident, and like that like resonated with me like so much. And like I just had to paint. Like some situations will push me to paint, and I don't even have control of the brush sometimes. Like it just feels like I'm going.
Like,
And I think he had passed away like on a Sunday. I had that painting finished for my friend on Friday, and I just said, "Here's a gift to you, sis. Like we grew up together. Like I seen y'all grow. This is my way of showing you that this hurts me too." And it's a little gesture, but it was something big for her and her family. And then they came back wanting more. I was
I
just like,
feel
well,
like
that.
that's beautiful, and I
Mhm.
strongly feel like for anything that anybody does, it could be comedy, it could be singing, it could be art. I just feel like if you don't feel certain emotions when you're doing what you feel like you do best, then you
Mhm.
cannot put your heart into it. So I feel like
Right.
when you're going out singing, you should feel whatever song that you're singing. When you're painting some art, you should feel whatever emotion
Yes.
into that art, into that painting. Like, listen, I really suck at drawing, but like, let me tell you, I can send you some paintings that I did, and you can tell I put my all into that. All right,
Yes.
all right. So you know when somebody didn't try, you know when somebody didn't feel something, you know when somebody didn't put their all into it. Like Daryl says, he told me this. Like I had this whole thing. Be quiet, Daryl. I got this thing when we're at speaking to your open mic or whatever. Respect the mic. Like I don't care.
Oh
Like
yeah, I don't do that.
stop making noise.
I don't
Just
do that in
stop.
my venues.
Yes.
I'm
So,
like,
so
nope,
this is what Daryl
nope,
says. Like,
nope,
you know,
Yes.
he's
nope.
like, no, we don't need to say that. He's like, because the person that is on the stage is supposed to have control over the audience.
Absolutely.
So if they're not on the stage feeling what they do best
Why
and
should the audience?
demanding the attention of the audience, like listen, I've done acapella things and I've been able to get people's attention. So like people use excuses like it was the music, it was this, it was that. So like a lot of stuff came into my head when he said that. I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right. I mean, like even though I like to give people a chance because sometimes it be their first time on the mic and they don't know what to do. Daryl is
Yeah.
hard on everybody, but you know, no,
Nah, I'm
I'm
not
just
hard.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
Yeah.
it just makes so much sense with what you said. Like, you know, I feel all of these emotions when I'm painting this for somebody. And just like what he said, like if they're not feeling it on the stage, then of course nobody's
Right.
gonna feel what they're doing. So like it just makes so much
Mhm.
sense. It's just,
Yeah.
you know when somebody putting their heart into something.
Yep.
Definitely. Definitely.
Amen.
And I do
Amen.
want to say one more thing.
Go ahead. Say one
Cut
more
it
thing.
out.
Go
It's
say
in
one more thing.
regards
Say
to
one more thing
something,
10
okay?
times. Go ahead.
I got a few paintings. I got a keychain, I think, from you.
Yeah.
I got a painting that I got from you. And I have this painting that, all right, listen, I get super sensitive over any mother, daughter, anything. Like, I'm sensitive over that stuff. Like, I like movies that, you know, this mom's loves and stuff like that. So, like, as soon as I saw that painting, I was like, it's perfect. I love it. Like, like, you know,
Hey.
so, like I was in my emotions when I wanted that. Like, don't sell it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, girl,
Yeah.
I was like, that place down. So like I loved it, and like you could tell, like, you know, it was beautiful. I loved it. I wish I had it so I could just show the world, but I don't. I gave it to my mom. So but
Nice.
yeah. Thank you.
Nice.
And I have my Aaliyah painting hung up in my room and all that. So yeah.
Yes, girl.
You have any questions? I'm sorry.
No, I'm listening to y'all. Most of the questions I would have asked, I probably would have asked a little differently, but you asked them already.
Did I do the job?
So what really inspired? I mean, did I miss
That's
the part
good.
about what inspires you?
Sort of, but no.
We skimmed it a little bit.
Oh,
I think so.
it's that
I
ginger thing. We got that ginger thing working here. Like, nah, sis already asked me the question. She already asked. I got you. I got you.
My bad.
I mean, we skimmed it. It wasn't like I didn't go into detail with anything. It was very broad.
Go ahead,
I
go
guess
ahead,
my
go ahead,
question
let's
would be like, I write poetry. She does too. And it's like, for me, it's like, I don't really just, some people just write just for the sake of writing. They'll wake up, yeah, I want to write a poem, and they'll force themselves to do it. Me, I got to see something like, I can look at that painting you have in the back with the three sisters. I think I know them. I could write a piece, something like that would inspire me. And I'll write a piece about it. And I'll just like, oh, wow, I'm digging that. And write a piece about hats. And underneath the hat is just that golden brown, that golden brown glow. And then, you know, just walk about the purple shade representing their royalty and everything. And I write about it. So art inspires me. People inspires me. When I meet a dope person, I'm like, yo, I gotta write about it. That's dope. So as an artist, I'm wondering what gets you to the point where you're like, oh my god, give me a crayon, give me some chalk, give me some paint, give me something.
Oh yeah, she's
Yeah, so
I
I
gotta hear it for myself.
got a couple of things that inspire me. Primarily, I don't want to sound cocky, but I do inspire myself.
Yes.
And it's not in a cocky way. I won't even say it like that. I inspire myself because I know how perceptive I am. I'm
Mhm.
very observant. I see things that people don't see. Like, I try to see inside and outside of things, and I feel like my perception of things is important because my interpretation of how the world is can possibly be interpreted the same way by somebody else. So a lot of times, like, I'm inspired by nothing, and I'm just like sitting there watching TV. It's not necessarily anything on TV that inspires me, but something triggers me with being in the state of mind that I'm in, where I'm at, and then I'll just start painting. And a lot of the times I paint something and I hate it, but I know somebody else will like it and it will help somebody and it will possibly save somebody else. And I do have pieces like that. I had did a commission for my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, and it like completely melted their hearts. Like, it was, and all I did was a painting of their son and my brother-in-law, but it has so much meaning surrounded around it. And like, I was pushed to like add a little bit more to it. Like, at first it was just their paint, that, the baby face and the father's face, but then something was triggering me to paint more. And then after I painted it, I pulled back a little bit and I was just like, whoa. Because to describe the painting, it's the father holding the baby, and then like they're kind of in the sun, and then surrounding them is like a tropical climate, like nice sunset, and then there's like a beach setting. And I just did it because I felt like in my spirit, like it went together. Like, and then when I finally presented it to them, they it explained to me how much it meant to them, as far as how the family loves the beach. They love going to the beach. And like, I don't know if I had remembered that from a previous conversation, but I knew that if I had put these two elements together, that it would complete the piece. And then by presenting it to them, it kind of further validated it. And it just made me feel so good. It was like, it's like I get inspired by my sixth sense, if that makes any sense.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's self-motivation.
Nah.
Listen, I was just talking about self-motivation today with somebody. Like, it's hard for people to motivate themselves. So that's power.
Yeah. And then like, I'm sorry.
Saying you're a visual artist, so it's kind of like you see things that we wouldn't see.
Right.
So it's kind of like it. Yeah, I like the way you framed that. Okay.
Yeah, and like, I took one art class in college, only one, and I learned so much from that one art class, and it changed my entire perspective of art as a whole. I learned about negative space, and then I started looking at negative space in real life. And I think that's when I really started noticing a shift in my artwork.
Okay.
And then I got really inspired by nature and space and animals. And then I'm trying, like, even in my, like, my recent work, I try to combine what's there, what's not there, with other things that are created in my head that I've manifested in years past. It's very weird.
Okay.
It's very weird, but it comes out really pretty.
Yes. It makes perfect sense.
It's magic.
It's magic.
It's magic.
And actually, this is actually an example of that.
Oh, don't worry, I got a challenge coming up that's going to involve showing every single last one of your paintings. But
Okay.
Daryl finishes
I'm
his.
done.
You're done. You
I
don't
have
know
my
what
question.
question?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, you know what? Because when it comes down to creatives, I just liked it. I mean, the most intriguing part is, the inspiration piece. What motivates you to work? What inspires you? I mean, and she
know,
answered
'cause you
that.
really
So
just wanna
for me,
know.
that's it. Everything else, I'm like, okay, I can see the artwork, or I can hear the song, or I can listen to the poem, or I can read it. But it's different to ask people, what really inspired it. I can interpret it, but to hear you explain it is something different. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
So I have a challenge.
Uh-oh. Lord.
Dun, dun, dun. But I do have a question because I'm not sure if you write poetry. Do you write poetry?
I haven't written poetry in probably 15 years.
Oh, girl. It's
But
I
I probably have 2 poems that I like wrote out of pure emotion, but it's not something I push.
Okay, I got a challenge for you still.
Okay.
So, from all the paintings that you're gonna show us today,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to show us, I want you, or we want you, to come up with a story. Like go through each painting. Like it doesn't have to be a whole story for each painting. Like put it all together as you go through the paintings. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be,
Okay.
and you get what I'm saying. I want to
I get
like
what you're saying.
tell us a story.
All right. So,
It doesn't have to rhyme. Do whatever you want to do.
all right. All right. So, um, I guess we'll start with this one since
Let's
it's
go.
right here.
Are you gonna bring the camera around? Yes.
We can see it.
Oh, let's see if I could.
Oh right, it could have been her computer. You see me over here, just like
I got all my cords connected.
yeah. You're good. You're good.
We
It's
can
all
see
right.
it. We can see it.
I'm
We're
good.
good.
So, the coven. 3 sisters headed to church, but worshiping something different. The end.
Just no,
keep
no. I
going.
mean, like continue,
Listen,
like make it a whole story all together with all the paintings.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I like what
I
wanted to hear about the 3 sisters.
Yeah, well, I mean, if like I wanted a story for the whole thing, and then she could, I don't know, like
Okay,
it's a challenge, Daryl.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Fine. He wants to hear the story about the 3 sisters, and then I guess you could continue because
Okay. Well,
wants to hear that story. So maybe you could tie the whole thing into 3 sisters. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah.
Do you?
And no disclaimer is needed for anything for your story. No disclaimer at all.
Just no cuss words.
People
all right. 3 sisters headed to church, but each of them have a different means of worship. The oldest is quiet and spiritual, doesn't like to intervene with others. The middle is social, raw, but also concerned and mother-like. The youngest is wild, untamed, and looking for the next big thrill.
Okay.
When the moon comes out, they're all going to shout, "Coven, coven, coven."
Okay.
Okay. And then in every story, there is a warrior, a princess, but nobody knows she's a princess.
Look, it's so nice.
But she fights with honor because she is a lady of truth and ready to take on the world and its beauty.
Yes.
Let's see. All right, so all my paintings are on this side of the So
Okay, so turn the
I'm just
camera.
gonna bring a couple over.
Go ahead. I want to be inspired.
Sorry, Muchi.
Okay.
90.7 WTCC FM. You in tune to Monday Night Live with D.Moss.
NBS Malay. Oh, that's so nice.
Yes, she fights with friends.
Oh,
She's the only woman. She's very different, but also chic. A little wild, but a ninja nonetheless. Um, let's see. And then there was her, the
oh.
sister at sea,
Look at it, so nice.
Oh, give me.
interested in what lies at the shore.
That's not Yemiya?
Huh?
No. Who is the one, the goddess of the sea? Nah, I'm somewhere else. I'm sorry.
It's, it's
Oshun.
okay.
That's it. She's a
That's it.
goddess of the sea.
I don't know.
No. I'll look it up.
The sister of the sea, she watches and gazes at the shore, hoping for something interesting, but should beware what awaits her at the shore.
Oh. Reminds me of The Little Mermaid.
Yes. Inspired by The Little Mermaid.
Amphitrite is the goddess of the sea.
Nah.
Amphitrite. It says the goddess of the
Look
sea.
up Oshun or Yemiya.
Oshun or Oshan?
I say Oshun.
So is it Oshan?
O-S-H.
Ocean goddess.
O-S-H-U-N. Live on 90.7 WTCC FM.
Oh, look at that.
That's beautiful.
And then there was he, the youngest seed, that does not know the future ahead of him. But we as a people hope that he has a future, and it's brighter than his brothers and sisters that are no longer with us.
Wow.
The end?
That is so beautiful. I loved it. Daryl's over here writing to one of your paintings. It's probably the Three Sisters one, but
Okay.
I love. Everything was so nice.
Yay!
So gifted and talented. You have a beautiful spirit.
Thank
I love how you always support everybody.
Yes.
You always give out your light and your energy, and it's so appreciative.
See, I'm corny. I was listening to your story, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, let me see if I can write something as she's as you're explaining it. So it's corny. So for all of our listeners out there in radio world, this is 90.7 WTCC FM. For all of our viewers, we want to thank everybody for rocking with us. This is Karen Bernard. She's a visual artist. She's dope. And she's talking about her artwork. And I tell you, art is so critical. Earlier, we were talking about the COVID-19. We talk about all the negative and bad things in the world. But I tell you, it's our creativity that keeps us moving. It's our creativity that gives us strength. It's our spiritual connection to the ancestors and the gods to whom they worship. So we take it for granted. We undervalue what we do a lot. But I don't think there's anything more significant than the art that we create. Yeah. So I want to say thank you. I'm digging what you do. So
yes.
Now, I tried to write a poem, so it's really whack. She's a poet. I'm not. Here you go.
He is a dope poet.
No, I'm not.
All right, go ahead.
All right. I can't read my writing. I can't read. Huh?
Well, all right. You know this whole thing, like that inspiration thing. We should call it poetry on the spot. So like all together, it's called POTS. Poetry on the spot. That's a new thing we about to
That's start. So good.
For our listeners who can't see what went down, our guest was, going through her gallery and talking. She pointed out a couple of her pieces, and she described them in story form. So as she was describing it, I was writing. I don't know if I could read my pig scratch. I'm so used to typing everything.
Yeah, you was talking about my writing though.
They see the world in different shades of brown, all around the same age, each at a different stage. This life, wild, contained, free, loud to the moon, howl of beauty they sing. Like a princess hidden to the world, a picture full of beauty, spirit, soul. Hidden behind masks, friends at war and love, secret like ninjas in the night. These are the pictures of life's other side. Painted by the sister of the sea, lost in a gaze, days on end she waits, watching the youngest seed discover a world of loss, but never lost, to the pictures of her life's other side. So that's just a short.
Oh, talking about some he ain't a poet, but wrote that
That was so good.
under 3 minutes. He over here jotting. I was like, oh shoot, you saw me.
I got something for you.
Right, that was some inspiration. I opened my notebook quick, like I felt like the dude from off of Blue's Clues, Handy Dandy Notebook, had a flip
Okay.
like he over here, man. We gotta get some inspiration up there. That was dope. That was dope. Poetry on the
I love that.
That was the moment of truth for a second. Poetry on the spot. We're gonna call it pot.
Some of my favorite venues back when I used to when I actually used to like write and hit stages and really perform were venues in which they had the live artists and they're painting and drawing. Sometimes you would see the artists who they're painting as opposed to spitting, and they're creating this masterpiece based on the words that they're hearing. But I went to one. I was in New York. I might have been in Harlem, and
that's dope.
The artist would paint, and then we would write. We'd write the story, so it was left to our interpretation. But the time was when the artist, as he was painting, he was describing kind of like Ayaba Mandingo style. He was describing his artwork. And as he's describing, everybody's listening, and I'm writing. Then they say, "Okay, everybody write." At that point, I'm like, "Yo, I'm done already." So I just think it's really dope. I think artists are exhibitionists, and they expose themselves to the world with their art, and we're allowed to see, inside to see a part of them that they technically don't show the world. Most artists happen to be really reserved. They're not extroverts. They're not necessarily introverts, but they're kind of like, they're in the crowd, but way on the periphery most times. So it's like when you see their artwork, you go, oh, wow, they do expose themselves. They do, commit, but do their work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, you're crazy, but okay.
Yeah, I'm on your wave, man. I'm with you.
Yo, so that's dope. All right. So what we got? Miss Current?
That was dope. I feel all empty-handed. I don't got no poem because I don't got a poem.
See, you gotta be quick, man.
They got the pots for the moment. That was dope. I think we gotta start that.
Once this pandemic is over and the nation finds some type of resolve for this current situation, I'm hoping that we can get you out down at level 5 for Speak and Eat with Afro Renaissance and bring the canvas
some
out
live
and
art.
just
like
go
what's
to work.
Up?
I'm here for it.
Yes.
Yeah, so
yes. Anywhere y'all need an artist, I'm here for you. Like,
I always need an artist.
That's dope. And you know what? This is the first time I've interviewed. I've been on the air for about 20 years. This is the first time I've interviewed an artist.
Okay.
Did we do Ayaba? We did Ayaba.
Yeah, we did Ayaba.
Okay, this is the second time. All right. Yo, man, you're breaking out something new. I've never done this before.
Listen,
so it's kind of dope. And then the merging of the digital platform with terrestrial radio, I think it's dope.
Listen, we out here, And we're going to open the phone lines because me and Daryl's going to be writing some more poetry before we close out tonight. We're going to do this new game that we got made up.
That she done made up that we going to put to work.
We made up because all I did was add to his idea. So, it's dope, okay? But we got to need some callers. So, if you want to test the mic, what's the number?
So, but let me do this. I know you've been on since 9 o'clock. We don't want to keep you, hold you hostage all night because I got to play some music for a while.
Okay.
If you want to hang around with us, we'll keep you online as long as you want. But I got to get some music. Then we're going to get some poetry and get some more engagement for folks. But we definitely want to reintroduce you to the world like we do all of our other guests. People know you. We want to make sure that we get you out there to other folks who may not have been fortunate enough to have met you prior. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, I'm down. I
Like, allow
appreciate
me to
y'all.
reintroduce myself. My name is
Karen.
Karenina.
Karenina. Karenina.
with it. My love.
All right.
Yes, thank
You know where the
you.
world up go.
This is 90.7 WTCC FM. My name is D.Moss. My co-hostess, her name is...
NBS Malay.
And we just had a dope conversation with Karenina.
Karenina.
Bernard. And Carmen Mason said, yo, hold up. Gotta post it. She said you are an amazing artist.
Yeah, she is, girl.
Gwen Harris Covington said, as you were describing your artwork, she said, I like. And then when you were talking about people, you know, jacking up your name, we ain't gonna say any names right now.
He was jacking up your name, right? For the record, for the people that's listening.
My man, Mr. Quest said people, they just met. He feels you, Quest, Queasy. Yo, man, Quest, if you still listening, yeah, I used to jack your name up too. But you know I love you, bro. You my brother.
You see, talking about some speaking of people who's messing up names, like
at least I did.
Okay.
So we're about to play some Orion's Son with Holy Water. And I gotta play this because you talked about the three sisters who are heading out to worship, but not what most people would worship. So here we go. For that, I'm gonna play some Holy Water, y'all. Here it is. Dig it.
Okay.
$2,000 will save my. I was gonna do it for
you. Oh, that's my joint.
You took too long. Stay over
because I was wondering what happened to the music. I forgot to turn the radio down.
Holy, warm like the sunbeam, bathe until I'm clean. Sweet dream, my honeybee, summers be hot like the stove be cooking with you.
I dig this song. I dig it.
Therapy, I just want everything.
90.7 background sounds of Holy Water. Dig it, y'all. I got my first poem off.
Okay. I'm gonna write one right now.
Water, my cup overflowing, abundant, your love got me floating upstream.
What you writing about?
I ain't telling you.
What you writing about?
What
you writing about?
I'm not telling you.
Feel like black hole. I just wanna know when Jake is so cold, why you feel so cold? I think I found the one. All my time wanna spend it with you. All my time wanna spend it with you. I think I found the one. Oh, all my time wanna spend it with you. All my time wanna spend it with you.
I'm listening to the
So stress and how it keeps compounding. I hate how I can't think of nothing else. It's like I'm drowning. Cause all I see is brand new faces, all these people around me. And it gets hard to know who loves you and whichever who doubts you. There be some that I can't talk about with anyone else. This type of that keeps my circle smaller to itself. Cause if you're not around me trying to find a way to help, then get the f around me. I don't need nobody else. Let me feel what I feel, how I feel when I feel, when I feel. Let me feel what I feel when I feel, how I feel when I feel. Trying to learn how to deal when I hurt in a way that I feel. Let me feel what I feel when I feel, how I feel. I wanna be, 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 I wanna be. Regardless if this pressure's real or I'm imagining, my happiness is a fantasy. Fake. I just can't disappoint you. Is that my phone?
Probably.
Believe that I still care about other people say. If I admit that to myself, I'd probably disagree. Cause there's no way a man allows himself to be that weak. Pull out the driveway late at night, know where I need to be. Cause I'll just spend another night alone with my running knee. Let me feel what I feel, how I feel when I feel, when I feel. Let me feel what I feel, what I feel, how I feel, feel. Hey. Yeah, yeah.
All right, I got something. Sup? He wrote this really sweet. So it's really sweet. I wanna be.
I wanna be happy. Wanna be happy. I wanna be happy.
Okay, sing it through.
Wanna be happy. Don't you wanna be
Sing it.
happy, baby?
Happy baby. Oh.
Background sounds
Hey.
by my little sis. They call her Audie, but I call her Audera.
Hey,
It is, y'all.
that's my
This
girl.
joint's called Untitled.
Go off.
Is this it?
Yeah, it is. Well, is it?
Is this it? Yeah.
Well, I know it's Audie.
Manifesting my blessing.
I hate this.
Yeah, this song is so dope.
What you wanna say? We can't get back the way we used to the past. No looking back, just satisfied. I love you, and that's the truth. Do you love you? You let us get away. So many years spent together for you not to understand. You understand me. I put you first. That your best you were loved. That's your worst you were loved. So how did it go wrong? Mistakes and sacrifices and it's fine. Was so divine. So divine. What you wanna say? take it back away. It's in the past. No looking back, just turning forward. I love you, and that's the truth to you. I love you, and do you?
Sing it, Daryl.
Leave me alone, man.
Sing it, Audie.
Do you?
Got Daryl over here singing her song.
Do you love you?
90.7
I love you, baby.
WTCC FM. Background sounds of my girl, Miss Ardira Cave. She's a bomb.
I wonder if you're the only one who calls her whole name.
Yeah, I am. I've been doing that since she was a
Oh my
little
gosh,
kid.
she's probably home aggravated. No, I'm just kidding.
Audie, listen,
Everybody else who know Audie, Audie, she real one.
we go back like cornbred and greens.
Everybody probably
man.
looking at the screen like, I mean, I know that's her whole Facebook
We
name,
go
but
back
I
like
didn't even know that.
cornbread and greens.
Nah, I'm
man.
kidding. But y'all know Audie, a real one. Check her out.
Yo,
Yeah,
that
song
was
is
dope.
right?
Yo,
We're gonna play it again.
digging it. Listen, y'all, I got a big quick announcement. The crew collectively recognizing empowerment within the crew, CREW. They are hosting their 8th annual Christmas toy giveaway. Let us celebrate with the community with a smile and a toy drive-by. December 22nd, 2020 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. The Fraternal Order of Eagles, 530 St. James Avenue, Springfield, Mass. Please come join us with safety precautions as we social distance. Masks are definitely required. So the crew is having their 8th annual Christmas toy giveaway. And that's going to take place at the Fraternal Order of the Eagles, located at 530 St. James Avenue in Springfield on December 22nd. Listen, man, if you have toys, if you're out shopping, buy an extra toy for somebody else who is far less fortunate than yourself. Yeah. So please give back, give it up, please.
Yes.
Support the crew. They
Loving
do good
the
work.
Crew.
They do really good
We're
work.
loving the crew.
So you wrote a poem, right?
Loving the crew.
You wrote a poem and you wouldn't share it with me.
Crew.
What's the
Loving
poem?
the crew. No, I'm sorry. You said the crew. That song like popped up.
Yo, she wrote. So she was writing a poem and she wouldn't tell me about the poem. So she was keeping it secret. So I was
not keeping it a secret.
I was like, as my daddy said, bump her. She kept secrets in her poem. And she sat in my home vibing the holy water. The sacred daughter, poet friend, wrote words to the end of our time, noting that we would speak and eat to the Afro-Renaissance art of Curran Bernard. The yard came out in language reminiscent of queens in the past, way past time for her secret to be discovered, a moment of truth between poetry.
Oh my God. He's stopping Ernest Pops for you, poetry on the spot. Okay. All right. So, I was feeling a little bit salty because he came up with a poem to one of her pieces.
Salty.
You know what? So I wanted to write a piece too. So let's hear. Gosh. And then he had to write something talking junk about what I'm writing.
Listen, man.
So I decided, since you wrote about the Three Sisters painting, I wanted to write about the warrior.
Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water.
Oh.
Cast all the trouble of the water. Go ahead now. Who's that woman all dressed in white? Must be the child of the Israelite.
In the water.
Come on now. All right, you gonna do your poem. Go ahead. We did it. We got him.
Watermelon. Okay.
Blueberry pie.
All right. Blueberry pie. All right, here it goes. I am a warrior. No matter what you see, I keep my head up and let my mind run free. Sometimes I cry, but that's what makes me strong. I don't bottle it all up. I have to do it over because. Oh, you're gonna add music too?
No.
Oh. I am a warrior. No matter what you see, I keep my head up and let my mind run free. Sometimes I cry, but that's what makes me strong. I don't bottle it all up so my mental ends wrong. I am a warrior. I feel the sun through my hair. I am peace. I always keep my stare at the goals I have ahead. Can't see what is behind. I'd rather look forward instead and remain straight on my grind. I am a warrior. I smile through my pain, and I always keep it positive when it's things I cannot change. His socks, he's so real. You see the face.
I'm a warrior.
I'm out here. You know what's up? He over here. He was rubbing in my face. I know anybody that's watching, y'all heard him say, "I got my first poem." Man, y'all didn't hear that because if you didn't, all right, I got my first one in too. You got some poetry you about to let go, Current?
Don't forget the 8th annual Christmas toy giveaway.
Yes.
December 22nd, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Fraternal Order of Eagles, 530 St. James Avenue. Background sounds of Childish Gambino. Stand tall, y'all.
I feel like a child so young.
Dig this, right?
I listen to what my father said.
It's just the instrumental. Then I put the song on. Go ahead, rock to it. If you were gonna sing a song, what would you sing? I see beauty in the way she dances.
I feel
Heaven in the way that she speaks.
I thought you said it was the instrumental.
Beauty is the way that she dances. She dances the tunes unseen as the gods look upon her smile. I see her fly, beautiful. Every hair follicle on my body dances on edge as she sings. From songs, melodious, marks, jazz, blues, gospel. She is the word that God speaks.
The sun is rising over streets of the splash before my eyes. I feel like a child so young
Sometimes life is easy and sometimes it's hard, but when I need inspiration, I go to Curran Bernard. She has artwork that makes my eyes open wide, and I cry sometimes as the water brushes against my feet, my knees buckle. I fall but not ashamed. Her artwork be the rain that soothes my soul. So sometimes when you act like you don't know, shout out to DJ KLS, the legendary Kevin Legends. Shout out to the legendary Kurt T, my man Woobeard, Fred Flash. Ladies and gentlemen, NBS Malay.
Love it to me.
When the sun is rising over streets of pain, since the evening, a splash before my eyes. So young and new and
We can let it play here, bro. That was fun.
Don't get me on the mic. I don't stop.
You were like, I'll keep going.
Background sounds of Mr. Childish Gambino. Stand tall, y'all.
That's my dude.
So smile when you can. How this used to feel so far and free, now these broken souls are all I see.
You heard this before?
Fall into our
going through music, I was like, ooh.
I like it though.
We may
I love Childish Gambino.
Yo, he's a monster. Underrated.
But my mama said,
He's so dope.
oh, no, no, no. If you are strong, you cannot fall. Strong, oh no. There is a voice inside our soul.
Oh, where my girl at? Karina.
What does she live? What does she live there?
No, that one. Karina Capri.
Oh yes.
Songs be 20-minute long.
Alright,
let's liven it up a little bit.
yes. Mic check.
Background sounds of Karina Capri. This joint is called Love is Law, y'all. Dig it. She's local right here in the 413, man. I'm feeling this. Here it is, y'all. It's coming.
I was trying to see if the phone line.
Oh, it's called?
I tried.
Somebody. Oh, that was you who called. No. Yeah, you just called.
Oh, it worked. It was the voicemail.
I'll probably be the last one. Last night I fell into you last night.
Nobody called though. We didn't miss any calls though.
I'm about to get somebody to call me.
Nothing like the last one.
I took 27847.
Probably be your last one. Last night I fell into you last night.
What is it? 2 what?
218-4024.
218-6024. I've had the wrong number.
Stop so you motion. Can't find the closure. Wake up before you're over. You just wanna get by.
Oh.
Probably why you get high. The only time you ignite to show you something in this dim light. Nothing like the last one. I'll probably be the last one. Last night I fell into you fast love. There ain't no looking back love. Nothing like the last one. I'll probably be the last one. Last night I fell into you fast love. There ain't no looking back love. Now you're on the ocean. You're silly but you're rolling. A master of composure. In search of an owner. You just wanna get
no, me too. I started to order a pizza.
You can't even get by.
Too late now. 11:19.
I know.
Love is all you need in this
Oh,
life.
snazzy. I got a sweatshirt on.
Nothing like the
I'll be out
last
here popping and
one.
stuff.
I had to rock my Game
Probably
Tearless.
the last
Pop my
one.
collar.
Last night I fell into you.
That's right. Next time I have a 3-piece suit on.
There ain't no looking
back,
back.
Gotta wear another fly jacket then.
Nothing like the last one.
We gotta like promote the
Probably the last
talk
one.
about it after.
Last night I fell into you.
Oh, we got the open mic coming up. Oh no, we don't.
Nothing is allowed to wonder when cause you made a chance. Said you never love again. You're not alone. It's in the plans.
Ain't nothing like the last one. Ain't nothing like the last one. Probably be the last one. Ain't nothing like the last one. Like the last one. Hey,
Hey.
hey.
90.7, 90.7 WTCC FM. My name is
Yes.
D.Moss. That was the background sounds of Karina Capri with
Hey.
Love is Law. Yo, it's like y'all been playing all that laid back, like lovey-dovey stuff all night. So
Love is law. Ain't nothing like the last one.
that's right.
Shoot.
So since we're
'Cause
talking
I
about the
feel
last
sick.
one, what makes for the perfect relationship?
Oh, you're asking me this question.
It's a question. What makes for the perfect? What would be the ideal relationship? Describe an ideal relationship, and is it even realistic? Go
A
for it.
typical day or just like a typical person?
A typical relationship. If you had to describe it, somebody says, "All right, we about to connect." What is your idea of the ideal relationship?
Okay, so I know we touched upon a little bit of what this a little bit last week, but not totally. Okay, what I look for in a relationship and a person, I need to. I told you, like, I need to be able to feel like I could talk to that person about anything.
So communication has to be
Communication.
essential. All right.
I have to be able to trust that person with anything. I'm a really, really honest person. So like even the smallest things, I feel like I have to tell an individual. Like I told you, like, even if it makes them mad, if it gets them jealous, like whatever. But if it's a person, like I have to be able to tell you stuff and not feel like you're gonna use it against me in the future. Like, you know, I told you about this person making passes at me, don't mean that I'm going to like, you know, ride out with that person in the future. Like,
So
you
in
know, if
other
you
words,
see us together.
they need to trust you.
Yeah, you need to be
Okay.
able to trust me back.
Okay.
I feel like if you're not with somebody that adds to you, like, you know, I don't feel like a monetary benefit is needed in a relationship.
Okay.
But I feel like you need to be able to have somebody that adds to you, that grows you, that makes you be a better you, like that pushes you to be, if you're an artist, a greater artist, like to push you to do art shows, that pushes you to, if you're a singer, to do more shows, like if you're a writer, to write more books, write more poetry, like, you know, even if it's somebody like, you know, if it's something that they're not totally interested in, but they'll put themselves in that position, like, you know, like say you got to take a big test.
Yep.
And your significant other is over there, like, you know, quizzing you and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm listening.
Somebody that's like that, like, you know, you have to motivate me, you have to inspire me, you have to talk to me, you have to trust me, you have
that's
to.
a lot of work, though, ain't it?
Yeah, but this is somebody that you're asking me to commit myself to you and be with you for the rest of my life. Like, if I'm gonna do something like that, there has to be a reason for it. You have to add to me. You have to be an individual that I'm going to need in my life. Like,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
That's a lot of work. So
What about you? What do you look for in a relationship?
that's right. I got to announce we got my man Pito Royal coming on with us next week, and I got his joint coming on in a second. It's called Lost Love. I don't know what a perfect relationship is. I think I'm that dude. I live in the moment. any relationship that I'm in, I kind of live in the moment, man. It's like when your expectations too high, you get disappointed. They get too low, you're always surprised by what you get. It's like open up a box of Cracker Jacks. I know you don't know what Cracker Jacks are.
I get
You never
that.
know what the prize is. You just know that the popcorn is sweet and crunchy and it's always perfect. You don't expect too much. It's a cheap little box of popcorn. That's how I look at relationships. You keep it simple. I got to get my arms around it. I know that no matter what I say, I'm a male and I'm a black male.
Mm-hmm.
So everything I do and say is going to be questioned because people have these
conceived notions
of who and what black men are. And we
okay.
have the same thing of black women and white women and Latino women and Latino
Understandable.
men. So it's kind of like if I said, look, baby, I'm telling you, I'm at the venue, same scenario.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm there, I spit all love poems. I'm not a slam poet. I'm not like, and then the government is going to, and then I'm like,
rip their necks off.
Nah, I seen her. She has smiling eyes and kind of brighten up the room. So it makes sisters feel special sometimes. And sometimes you got people trying to get at you, but you need to trust. I ain't going with nobody. I'm coming back home. So
exactly.
And no matter what I say sometimes.
But that's an expectation.
But no matter what you say, sometimes it's hard to prove. Because if one of your girls go home and be like, I don't know, this girl is all up on him, no matter what I say. So it's like
that goes exactly with what I'm saying,
So when you talk about an ideal relationship, I don't know, I think for brothers, we don't have much control over relationships.
I feel like it don't just go like that. Like, cause even
I'm watching her facial expressions. She's like,
oh wait, let me say something. So I don't feel like it just goes like, all right.
Let's start with relationships.
Wait. I just want to say something to your expectations.
Let me ask you this. Who starts a relationship? Who determines whether or not this is going to be a relationship?
Either or the person.
No. Typically, when brothers think that they, choose,
so you can't. That's what I'm saying. You got to go with everybody.
Oh, yo.
Yeah.
Good point.
Exactly.
Good
so that's
point.
That's what I'm saying. Let me speak for a second.
Okay. All right.
With the expectations,
okay.
thing that you was talking about, like. Yep. I don't necessarily have expectations for people. Like, I go with vibes and I go with energy and stuff like that. But the thing is, once you see, all right, keep my hand still.
No, go ahead. I'm just laughing. Go ahead.
Once you see red flags, it's like, okay, bye. I see that you're not motivated. I see that you're bored all the time. You're always laying on the couch. You're always not doing something. Okay, that's all right. It's expectations, but it's red flags. It's red flags. I know you're not going to be a person to make me be better about myself. You're complaining about me being out late night, but I'm over here working hard with my job and I'm doing this and that, and you're upset.
Is she really over there?
I'm in the character.
Yeah, you getting emotional. I'm sitting there like I'm about to do the church finger and be like,
I'm in character. So I'm saying when you're experiencing things with people, when the red flags come, like, of course, you're going to expect somebody like, all right. You can't even say you don't have expectations for people because when you first meet somebody, you expect them to give you their best impression of themselves. But like, a person when you first meet them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. You know what? There's nothing worse than somebody who wears a mask.
Exactly. That's my point. That's my point. So say, Dero, she came to the table like a freaking pig and she eating like a pig and all of the above. You didn't expect that.
But if that's who she is, it's like this. Before you get into the relationship, you don't know what to expect.
Exactly.
So if you come, oh my God, she's going to come floating in like, oh, and there's going to be bells and stuff ringing. And then you get there and she's eating like a pig and you're expecting her to be all cute and dainty.
Exactly, but
it's
I'm
like
saying
if you eat like a pig, if you just you got a huge hearty appetite, when we first start kicking it, the relationship kicks off, bring your appetite to the table with you.
Exactly. So if she comes to the table being herself, like what you expect, because some people expect for them to be like this nice person, the best that they can be, and then later they're gonna show. All right, so if she comes to the table as this pig or whatever, she knows that you're not gonna like her.
I wouldn't say pig, I say hearty appetite.
But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Not like that. I don't mean pig like that, guys. Like I mean like a really sloppy person. She doesn't have to be big or little or whatever. I just mean like sloppy, like she doesn't look cute and like, it's not her best impression on her.
I just want her to be comfortable.
Okay. So on your first date, you expect this person to be like, looking like the last time that you saw them, give you their best impression and all of the
Yeah.
above, and expectations and all of that. Because if they come to the table like how they really are 50 years from now, then and they know that you're not gonna they're not gonna come to like they're not gonna act like
No,
that.
I'm so confused.
You too.
I'm so confused. I guess I don't really come in with a whole lot of expectations. It's like when you're dealing with human beings, you never know what to expect.
Right. That's why I say you run when the red flags come.
Yeah, but what's a red flag? That's like saying, okay, once I discover who you really are, then I'm no longer interested. Red flag number one. Damn, she doesn't do her hair half the time.
Because you
red flag number two, she's not a good cook.
No,
because
not
you
like
got,
that.
Yo,
okay.
I mean, what a red flag.
Don't totally miss what I'm saying.
No, I'm asking for clarity.
This is the clarity, right?
Okay, please.
When, like I said earlier, a person is showing you, like say
when somebody says show you who they are,
believe them. Exactly. So I'm saying, like, all right, say you've been with a person, like you've been dealing with a person for like what time? There's no specific time limit.
You know what? No, I'm going with y'all young people standards for a whole month.
All right, whatever. But whatever. Say you're dealing.
My day would have been like 9 months, a year and a half.
I mean, I take forever too, so I'm with you. Anyway, I really don't know how to
do the facial expressions are classic.
All right. So basically, what I'm saying, when you're with somebody for a certain amount of time, you always know when to like walk away. Like, for example, who's this girl?
But you're talking about an ideal relationship. Why are you talking about walking away?
Because you don't want to be in a relationship with people that you see certain red flags. Like certain red flags people ignore. Like when people repetitively call you over and over and over and over.
Let me ask you, are you an optimist when it comes to relationships?
Yes. I love love.
But we're talking about the ideal relationship. You already skipped all the way to the end when it starts getting terrible and the red flags are floating. I'm like, yo, just start getting
because you're supposed to. What we're talking about, ideal relationship. I'm saying when you had to know when to walk away from a person.
What if you don't want to walk away because you're in love?
That's what I'm saying, and that's how do you know that you're in love if you continue to ignore the red flag? That'd be the problem with all of these relationships today.
Define red flag.
Red flags.
Not with an example. Define a red flag.
Red flags. A person that's like repetitively calling you, and they only known you for like 3 days. Like, why are you calling me back to back? Give me a chance.
So someone who's clingy.
Clingy, yes.
Okay, so they're the type of person they want people to be with them 24/7.
Exactly. They don't know how to be by themselves.
So is that a red flag? Just because you may not be the attached.
Yes, if you're calling me back to back, you don't give me a chance to call you back within an hour. Yes, that is a red flag.
Well, it may be a red flag for her that you don't want her to.
That's a super red flag.
But see,
why do you want somebody to call you 3 times in 1 hour?
I think it's a matter of perspective. I just think, I don't know about
That's what I said. It's a red flag for you. You have to pick what you want. So my red flag, I don't like people that call me back to back.
See, I'm like this. I think if someone's worth being in a relationship with, if you feel the need to call me 3 or 4 times, then call me 3 or 4 times. If I'm like, yeah, I really want to be in a relationship, and she's like, I really want to be in a relationship. I think Carmen may just say, oh my God, get out of my head, Carmen. She says, I don't understand. If you're in the relationship, you grow together. So eventually you grow together and you learn to compromise.
If you're in a relationship.
So you can't say I want to be with someone, but I don't want them to have these particular character
That's what I'm
flaws.
saying. That's why you don't be with that person if you know you don't like those types of things.
Everybody you run across is going to have some type of, what different people would consider flaws. Right. But if I'm trying to be in an ideal relationship, a perfect relationship, again, I'm not coming in with these crazy expectations of you or like this. I don't know. How can you say this? If I think you're dope, I enjoy your company. Mm-hmm. I love your smile. You got the most beautiful eyes. It's like, the way you say my name is just mad dope.
Yes.
But you always picking up the phone and calling me. I'm like, okay. Hey, what's up? Look, I'm glad you called me, but I can't talk to you right now.
I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. That's what I'm saying. There's certain things for certain people, but it's not me. I can't do it.
So you might be the red flag for them.
Whatever.
If you look,
then again, I wouldn't be if they keep calling me. They're calling me because they want to be with me. If I'm ignoring your call, I don't want to be bothered by you. You know what I'm saying? That's aggravating. That's a red flag for me. When somebody keeps calling you, that's what I'm talking about. When you're picking up relationships, when you're picking up people that you like, I feel like the red flags.
But the
are
question
important.
Was for you to describe the relationship, not the down part, not the red flags.
That's part of the relationship.
The red flags.
Yes.
But you jump from ideal relationship straight to the red flags. First thing you do for ideal relationship,
Because
know what
you
you don't
said
want.
to describe it.
I guess my thing is, if I walk into a relationship critical, it's not going to last anyway. Because if I'm looking for flaws and I'm looking for red flags, the heck, it's not a treasure hunt, you know. And it's kind of like,
it is a treasure hunt.
No, it's not a treasure hunt.
Basically, I feel like you're looking for the person that's right for you, and I feel like that's why people get into so many different relationships. They're not paying attention to the different things that they like, and I feel like people are not alone long enough with themselves to even understand what they like. Because they're so quick and they ignore stuff, they ignore science, they don't want to keep people as friends for some time to get to know them.
But can you make a sweeping generalization like that?
That's what I'm saying. You got to get to know people. No, I can't do within a month. You just
made one. You said you feel like people aren't alone with themselves. Yes. Sometimes they are. You got people who, they go solo for, 6 months, a year, 2 years. Then they get into a relationship and they still run to someone who's saying, yo, you still way too clingy. But I've been by myself for 2 years. I just like talking to you. And you're saying, I don't want to talk to you because I have my own life. Which, I don't know.
I'm not saying...
I'm kind of.
I feel like this. All right. What I mean by clingy. All right. I've experienced some weird ass crazy crap this year. All right. With whatever. So when somebody is calling me back to back, I don't like it. I like my space. I do. And there's certain things in certain people that I don't like. When I pick up certain signs that I saw in other people, I don't like that.
I've been in relationships where people had, certain things about them that I didn't particularly care for, but then I have to put, that relationship on a scale. When I look at the positives and I look at the negatives, typically the positives outweigh all the negative stuff. I mean, it's like I'm still best friends with a whole lot of, with people I've talked to in the past, and the breakups are typically because, our lifestyles are no longer conducive. We had different interests, different sets of friends, different circles. That's different than saying that red flag came up and oh my God.
You see, but you're fixing what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Well, I said you pick and you choose.
No, I'm going by what you said. I'm not picking and choosing. I'm going by what you've been focusing on.
Or any general person or whatever. I feel like if you can deal with a person's certain flaws, whatever, like of course a person's not going to be perfect or whatever, but you could pick.
Until you
can pick who you want.
Until you meet the person, as my man DJ Careless says, until you meet the person that considers you clingy, then what?
Nobody gonna consider me clingy.
Everybody says that. We go through.
I like to be by myself.
We're constantly. The beautiful thing about being a human being is the fact that we're constantly changing. We're always evolving. The person, the D.Moss that you talked to 2 weeks ago, is different from the D.Moss you see in front of you. We go through experiences. We have conversations. And with each and every conversation or experience, a part of our personality changes. Yeah. And, we adjust. We adapt. That's to be human. So I may not be clingy today, but who knows, 2 years from now, I just enjoy being up underneath you. You go to the store, baby, where you at? You go to hang out with your girls, baby, where you at? You at the podium, baby, where you at?
So I can't do that.
But it doesn't mean I'm clingy. It's just like, I miss her right now and I'd like to talk to her. So I guess.
But then it's different if you've been with a person for a while.
So describe some of the capacities of a relationship. Forget the flaws. Let's talk about the ideal parts of a relationship.
That's what I started with.
The clingy part?
No, when you was asking me what's the different traits in a relationship that you would like from a person. So are we really gonna forget that I started this off beautiful? Are we gonna forget that I said about the understanding, the love, the compassion, the kindness, and all of the good stuff? Okay. And then we went into the details.
And the key is not to bring baggage or expectations from other relationships into the one. Oh, God, absolutely. The key is not to bring baggage or expectations from other relationships into the one you're trying to create with someone else. And
but you also, you have to be able to protect yourself at the same time. Like
then that means you're not giving the new person a fair chance.
Like you can see when a person is insecure. And you can definitely see the signs when people are insecure and when they have to learn how to be by themselves and when they need therapists and all that stuff.
When you walk into a brand new relationship with 2 guards up, who's insecure?
With 2 guards up? How are you having 2 guards up because you're protecting yourself? You have to be able to protect yourself.
Yo, excuse me, sis, can I take you out for a date?
That's not like that. That's what I'm saying. That's why you get to know people before you get into a relationship with them. Because then you can decide the flaws that you keep.
But sometimes it's like I go to a venue. Say I go to a venue in Bridgeport. Mm-hmm. Never been there. And I see the sister, and I'm single at the time, and all of a sudden, it's like this is something about her, just like we click,
Right.
we vibe.
The connection.
She's dope. You know, it's like we go from talking on the phone, we're growing, and that when I say ideal relationship, that's part of the growth process, though.
Yes.
When you get to know somebody.
Absolutely.
That's what Kev, he
100%
said.
I agree with that.
The thing is, the phases fall in love. The thing is, the phases fall in love. You have to be willing to fall in love. You have to be willing to fall in love and take chances with every relationship.
Absolutely, but you can't fall in love with every single person that you meet.
No, but you have to be open to it. I mean, if
can
you
be
meet
open,
somebody
but
and
you
you
don't have
decide
to
you're going to
give
be in a
everybody
relationship.
a chance.
Well, what do you mean by not giving everybody a chance?
You can meet so many people that's just like everybody. You don't have to give everybody a chance just because they're interested in you.
All right. See, if I say that and I'm a dude, that's basically saying, bruh. I would interpret it as, come on, bruh. What you're saying is you want to shop around. You want to continuously sample the milk, but you don't want to buy a car.
No, I don't want to sample any milk.
You want to drive the car, but bro, my car is for sale. You just want to drive it.
I have so many people that say the same things, that try to connect with me the same different types of ways, whether it be music, whether it be poetry, whether it be whatever. I cannot give all those people, I cannot give everybody access to me. Like, you know, I'm special. I want to pick who I want to go with.
So why bother dating?
That's what I'm saying. I can choose who I want to date. That's the point in dating. You choose who you want to go on dates with. You don't got to go on dates with everybody.
No, and I'm not implying that you go on dates with everybody.
That's what I'm saying, though. You get to choose.
But I asked about the ideal relationship.
Right.
So I'm assuming you find someone that you feel is perfect for you. Describe that person without describing their red flags.
Zero. That's what we started off with in the beginning when I said, Karen, did I not start this whole conversation off with, I need somebody that's communicating with me, that pushes me, inspires me. And then you said, all right, but what about the details in the relationship?
But here's the thing. What you talked about, and here's why I keep asking. You keep talking about the impact that they have on you, but you're not describing the individual.
What do you mean? That's the
describe the type of person you look for. You're saying they got to do this for me at the end of.
I can't be with somebody that's not motivated. That's not doing something with themselves.
So in other words, you're saying the ideal person is motivated, self-motivated. The ideal person is independent. The ideal person is a romantic, but they're also an individual. What you were saying was someone who's not going to cry with me, someone who's not going to do this to me, someone. I added that in later. That's different from stuff. But that's different from describing the ideal person.
Okay.
I mean, for me, it's simple. Somebody who's gonna make me laugh, I can have fun and hang out with, and because someone who's gonna be more of a friend. You know, because we talk about boyfriend, girlfriend, throw the labels on. We can do that. I'm gonna
watch this over because I said all this nice stuff in the beginning. Did I, Karen? You was a witness. Did I not say all of this nice stuff in the beginning? Because I sure did. And then it was like, oh, what about this part? And that's when it got me like, and then, you know, I had to shoot somebody.
So Carmen says, so showing someone affection and love, would you consider that to be clingy? If someone is showing you affection and love, is that clingy?
Definitely not.
Oh.
That's definitely not clingy.
So while you're enjoying it, it's not clingy.
No, I'm talking about somebody that's repetitively aggravating you and bothering you. That's what I'm talking about. Like, when they're like, you're busy, you're out busy and you're doing stuff.
Are you willing to give the same thing you're asking for? That is a perfect
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
That's easy.
Okay.
What other questions you got?
I have quite a few. All right. In a relationship, describe in a relationship, what are your expectations? And without the red flags, like, what's the role that you expect your significant other to play in your life? Like, people date, but they have they never give any second thought to what the expectations are. I'm looking for a girlfriend. Why? What do you need them for? What's the role? You want to date my daughter. So what's the role my daughter's going to play in your life? Something to that effect. It's like, so what are your expectations? What's your role? Why can't you be friends? Why do you have to date? Talk about that. So you meet a young lady. Tell me, what's the expectation and what role do you expect them to play in your life?
Wow. I feel like I'm getting repetitive with this now because I feel like
I'm asking you a little. Okay,
I feel like I'm saying the same thing.
Say it again.
But honestly, a role that I would want a person to play in my life.
Yep.
I would want them to be somebody that adds to me. Somebody that communicates with me, talks to me. Like, I'm lonely all the time. Like, you know, so I want somebody that makes me feel comfortable, that makes me feel safe, because I don't like being by myself. I like somebody that I don't necessarily need, but I need.
Okay.
So
what would be your role in the relationship? Like what
anything the person needs me for.
So I just need somebody to bring me water.
If you just needed me to bring you water,
I need someone to be on the other end of the phone when I call 6 times.
If that's what I want to do for you, that's what I do. If I love you that much. Yo. But my point was, in the beginning of when you're getting to know people, you don't be clingy and stuff because you don't want to be with those people. I'm not saying you can't call somebody that you with.
All right, but that's not a relationship. That's like when you just meet someone. You're talking about that first stage.
I was talking about the start of meeting somebody. Yes.
So I'm saying you're in an ideal relationship. Right. Describe that ideal relationship, not the beginning.
No, but right now, what you just said.
Yep.
I was before. Okay. What I was explaining, I was answering your questions.
Yeah, we're gonna go back.
Yeah, we are gonna go back.
Bob, rewind the video, Bob.
I know what I'm talking about.
Bob, rewind the video.
Because that's not what I meant. You take what I said out of context. That's not what I meant.
Well, maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm hearing you in slow motion because I'm like.
From my understanding, all right, let me not blame it on you. From my understanding, what I picked up from you was what are the different traits you look for in a person, before you start your relationship. So that's what I said, and what don't you like? Like, this is the stuff that I don't like. This is why I won't deal with a person. So I was just putting it all together. But, I'm not saying that if I'm with a person, they can't call me. Like, if we're together and we've been together for some time and you need to call me, you need to talk to me. Like, people know how I am. I'll answer the phone.
You sound like you handing out termination notices.
For real. I don't like that.
Well, we've been dating for a while. It's been 3 days. Thank you. Here's your pink slip.
Sure will. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that bad. I'm really not that bad, but I'm honestly not gonna settle for less. If there's something that I don't like with an individual, I'm not gonna like it. I'm not gonna ride out with it. Especially if I know somebody for 2 days and they calling me back to back to back. And I made sure I said that in the beginning too. I made sure I said that. Okay. Nah, let me stop. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, all right.
He's scared to ask me more questions, but it's definitely coming with a freaking termination letter, okay?
It's definitely coming in.
Really, when I cut people off,
you be on first dates with pink slips, like, "Hey, how are you? So where are you from again?"
Yeah.
Wrong answer. Thank you.
Listen, look, don't play. I told you I don't settle for less. I really don't. I write it out, and if I don't like it, I'd rather be by myself.
Right.
I'd rather be by myself to be unhappy.
You meet someone that you're interested in, right?
Okay.
And then you go, do you see us together in, say, 5 or 10 years? And they go, well, I don't believe that we're on the same road. I don't believe we're on the same path. So I don't know about you. No, they go, do you see yourself with me in 5 to 10 years? And they go, no. And you go, well, why not? Well, we're not exactly on the same path.
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to that?
That would be tough. That would be really heartbreaking, especially if I felt like we was on the same path and the other person didn't. How would I respond?
You're fired.
All right. How would I respond? Ask me okay. Can we role play it?
Go for it.
You gotta do it. Ask me the question.
No, you ask me the question. That way I can give you the response.
I thought you said you had to ask me
if you ask your significant other, do you see yourself with me in 5 to 10 years?
I have to ask you that.
Right.
Okay.
And then go ahead.
Do you see yourself with your significant other?
If you happen to be
I'm messing this up.
All right, you're that person. Okay. You asked me if I can see.
Do you see yourself with me in 5 to 10 years?
Nah, I don't. Nah, no.
Why?
We're not exactly on the same path, but you can enjoy the ride for the time being.
How aren't we on the same ride?
We're in 2 different worlds right now. But I mean, we can enjoy the moment. How do you respond to that?
What do you mean by enjoy the moment? That's how I would respond. Go ahead, answer.
Well, I enjoy your company right now, but you're not exactly what I'm looking for.
All right. Well, honestly, I expected, different with the situation. I don't know how long we've been together. I really like you.
It's been 9 months.
Oh, I really like you. I don't want to let go of you and all of that. So, I'm going to have to, I would just have to write it out until I didn't like that person anymore. Honestly, I wouldn't know how to respond. But I really don't think. I would probably be upset in the moment. Mm-hmm. And then I'll be like, I don't know. If it's a person that I'm riding with, I'm just going to ride with them until I don't like them anymore.
Okay. So I'm like, yeah, you're not the one for me, but if you want to ride, you can ride. You're like, okay.
But
Yeah.
why would you say I'm not
No,
the one
I'm
for
just-
you if you've been with me for 9 months? It's just like too much. Like, come on.
No, I've had people do it. I've had a sister say that to me. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
I don't exactly see us as boyfriend girlfriend. I'm like, oh really? Nah, no. I think I may move on at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, are you giving me a pass?
It's just so crazy because I really wouldn't even know what I would say in that moment. That's kind of awkward.
I mean, it happens. Actually, I got the idea because I was on Facebook on somebody's page, and
that's awkward.
But it happens when you have people who are honest. When you have people who are honest, and you say, "Yo, do you think that we'll be together for 5 years?"
Does be together like does ride out with me just mean like we're just having sex or like we're doing what we've been doing?
It sounds like he was telling. I mean, again, it was someone's actual post.
Well, no, I'm not gonna ride out with somebody just to have sex with you until
I didn't say that. I'm
sorry.
Post.
My bad. If the question was just about sex, I'm gonna take my answer back.
That's an interpretation. They put down the scenario just like the same scenario I posed to you.
Oh.
They posed because they had asked someone that question. That was the response. No. Dude was honest. No. I'm not in this for the long haul with you. Mm-hmm. But you can enjoy the ride for the moment.
That's just, I don't know. That's heartbreaking. So I'm going to have to take my answer back because I don't know how I would feel, especially if it's just a sex thing. Like, I can see if the ride for the moment
They could just have great conversations. They didn't say sex.
I know, right?
So we automatically make that assumption.
I'm going to leave my answer.
Sex is cool, but it's not everything in a relationship.
You're right.
Some things are, far more intriguing.
Exactly. Wait, you got to answer the question. Go ahead.
Oh, if I was in that situation, I've been in that situation.
And what'd you do?
It's like, listen, it's okay. It's
your
life.
That's what you said.
It's your life. I'm always gonna be here, respecting. We're still really good friends to this day. It's, people decide that their lifestyles aren't conducive. Personalities aren't exactly conducive, but you're cool. So what you gonna do? So Kevin Spivey says, "What is the longest relationship you have been in?"
Me?
I'm not a she.
No, he asked me that.
Yeah.
6 years.
Ooh, six long years. That's marriage, baby.
Yeah, 6 years. And 2 back-to-back 6 years relationships. And I've only been in 2 relationships.
Okay. I think mine is 10 years.
Yeah.
Station Brown. Hey. Yeah, huge flag. She said, huge red flag about the scenario. She said, time to depart ways. Time is valuable.
Exactly. Thank you. Red flag, right?
Not talking about the scenario. Okay.
Yeah. But I had to take my answer back a little bit.
Also depends on what you're looking for: commitment or just fun of riding the tide. I mean,
right.
I guess when you're younger, you can, you got time to play around. Like,
I don't got time for that.
No, I didn't say you. I'm saying just.
Oh, I was about to say, like,
general.
I'm sick of it.
Hold up. You say you don't have time for that. But you talking about handing out pink slips, yo? They call it too much.
Yeah, that
one eats like a pig. Gotta be fired.
I didn't say that. That was an example.
She's fired.
All right.
So when you say you don't have time,
let me be clear for my future lover that might be listening. Okay. Let me be clear. The examples that I am using in today's scenarios is not real, okay? You have to literally take me out somewhere and figure the red flags out yourself, okay?
Hold up.
Peace.
Station Brown said, if you are younger, I said because when you're younger, you got more.
He don't know what he's talking about. See, this is the old people talk that I'm talking about, y'all. Y'all gotta hear this.
I'm old.
He's ridiculous. This is why they fired Judge Toller, because she don't got enough experience with the young people and stuff. Like, he over here telling me, don't look at the red flag. Just write it out and just have sex with the person.
I didn't say anything about sex. I never said sex. Anyways,
we gave you a scenario.
See, you're young, right?
All right,
you're young for the first. You are young for the first time in your life. I done been there twice. That's that experience talking, baby. That's that experience talking.
How old are you though?
How old am I? Woo! I'm 56.
And you was really supposed to tell your real age.
Yeah, I don't care.
You supposed to say 25.
Listen, man. Listen, man. I was riding them crazy 80s and them Kill somebody in 90s, I'm still here and I'm breathing. HIV was out there crazy, I'm still here. The COVID's out there crazy, I'm still here. Cancer that took mad people, I'm still here. Oh, yeah, I am 56, darn it.
Right.
Yes, I am.
Shoot,
I'm here. Cats get older and get ashamed of their age. Nah, don't that, I'm younger than you think. I'm 56 and proud of it. That means I'm alive.
They're not wrong.
The alternative means I'd be dead. Kes Bible said, don't let the red flags dictate everything you do with relationships. It's not fair to make that person deal with things that happened in the past without them. Carmen, in regards to my age,
I disagree.
Thank you, Carmen. I mean, I agree. You know what, people, Erica Badu said, what? Bag lady. You got too much, too many bags and stuff like that. People be traveling with bags into new relationships. It's like, I don't know, the last 10 people I had.
No, all right, no. Look, just like we were saying in the beginning.
Yes. No, you were saying in the beginning.
Now I forgot what point I was about to make. I done got messed up.
Young people.
No, something about the red flags and I can't even remember.
Young people. See, that's what happens when you hit 25.
Dang, I forgot.
I told you.
Dang, I forgot. But basically, I was saying, dang, man, it just keeps going in and out my head.
Hold up. Interesting, Kevin L. Spivey. Stacia, I would like for you to expound on that. Because we know when sisters go, interesting. There's like a volume. There's like encyclopedia sets up in between that the dot. I like to know what that means. What are your thoughts, Stacia Brown? Bag lady. I told you, bag lady. You got too much.
All right, so
we don't know the words.
Yeah, I don't know the words, but I definitely was gonna say something before you started.
All right, go for it.
No, I'm trying to remember.
Okay,
it's at the tip of my tongue.
Rememberer. Oh man, it's 11:56. We got 4 minutes. Get it off your chest, girl. Say what you got to say. Go ahead.
Your chest.
I know it was around the thoughts about the red flags. I know it was.
Okay.
All right. So I feel like
it was that when Stacia said
it's not necessarily
huge
like
red flag. Go ahead.
Well, no, say it, Stacia. Go ahead.
She said it. She said huge red flag. Now talking about before, and you said I gotta say something, but you had a youthful moment.
No, I think that was to her.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it was the
Yeah, exactly. So don't even try to play a real one. So basically, what I was getting at, it was something surrounding the red flags, and I just can't even get to it, especially because you keep saying about the point, whatever you're saying. I feel like it's very important to look at the red flags. I'm not saying to carry the red flags is baggage from your past, but I'm saying you can see when a person does not love themselves and when a person is not totally into the relationship and everything, just like what Daryl said about the person with that scenario that he brought up. When it's a red flag, it's a red flag and you bounce up out of there. Like, you're not supposed to ignore the red flags.
But you know what? You may lose out on your soulmate because you think it's a red flag. All right. For all the young cats out there, here's something I used to do, and it was kind of crazy back in my dating days, right? I had this theory because a lot of folks, there were women out there who were gold diggers. We called them gold diggers at the time. So I would pull up in my car, right? Mm-hmm. And I would show up with my car on E. And I'd be like, all right, I hope you make it there. I'd have money. It'd be like, I hope you make it there. Mm-hmm. But I might need a few dollars for gas, just in case. And keep driving just to see how people respond. And when they're like, yeah, this is over, never again. It doesn't matter to me because I'm like, I watched brothers get played. I had gotten played, and it's just like, And the other thing, it sets the tone so nobody ever has any expectation that you're going to end up, coming out of pocket.
That's why every time I go on a date, I always bring my own money and pull out my own money before it's time.
But that was in my kiddie play days, and I didn't know any better. I'm just saying, that was in the kiddie days.
Just in case.
But think about...
I just feel like everybody should be able to have the person that they want. Just because there's certain things that you don't like about people, that you decide to walk away from a person, I feel like there's nothing wrong with that.
I
didn't say that you said.
if
I'm
you-
just saying it. I'm just
if you wanna,
throwing it
but
out
I'm just
there.
saying
That's
sometimes, and then it's like this. You fast forward. I'm 56 now. I look at some of my counterparts who are women, and even some of the brothers who have walked past some who have, you look, man, every time you talk to them, let me put it like this. They go, yeah, sister, I should have married. Yeah, I messed up on that. Yeah, you did mess up on that. Why? Because you saw a red flag. It wasn't really a red flag. She's doing good now. She's doing great, and you jealous of the dude that's with him. Sisters who be like, dang, if I had only known you'd be who you are, I would have stuck around. Well, damn. Why, thank you. I'm glad you did it. So sometimes you see red flags.
Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier. I remember. Go ahead.
That's a red flag. That's a red flag.
Fuck. I mean, freaky.
That's a red flag.
I just remember I had an epiphany. I just remembered.
All right. Go ahead, say it. Then I'm going to read these comments.
All right, so what I was going to say.
Yep.
When you have a connection with somebody, when you have a type of vibe or a certain type of energy with somebody, you know and you feel that energy that you have with that person. Yep. So you'll continue with that person if that's what your body and your mind and your love lead you to. But once your vibe or your energy or your mind or your body or your soul or whatever tells you that that's not the person for you, then it's not the person for you. That's the biggest red flag that you need is your intuition. That's it. That's how I feel.
She said it. She just emptied her head out. So here we go. Like Maya Angelou says, if they show you who they are, believe them.
Listen, Station, you're going to have to pick a side.
No, she's been consistent. Here we go.
Yes, girl. That's what I'm saying, girl.
Self-preservation.
That's what I said.
You was killing my ears, girl. That's another red. See, when they screech in your ear, that's a red flag.
But listen, I bet you a bunch of women, black women yelled in his ear. He liked it. So.
I can't read. Self-preservation is the key. So I'm not saying ignore red flags. Right. I'm saying don't let them dictate your relationships moving forward. I agree.
I agree with them too, but I'm saying there's certain things, certain red flags you just can't.
Station, yup, it's funny and crazy, but I swear on my life, it's real.
Yeah, it's real.
Real. Okay, Kevin. And if you have communication, a person should be able to say, look, this is not sitting well with me, and I want to give this relationship or friendship. Dang, it got cut off. The relationship or friendship being valuable.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You know what?
Communication is key instead of just letting what you feel is a red flag and not talk about it. I agree with that. I think communication, you started out saying that communication is essential. I agree with that. And like with the brother who told sis, look, man, you can enjoy the ride, but I don't see myself with you.
I'm so bothered with that whole scenario.
But you can't be because what you want is honesty.
No, I'm saying like I don't even know what to say. Like, I've been rocking with you for 9 months. Who else am I gonna have sex with now? Like, I'm sorry, radio. Okay. But like, all right, I'm like a reserved person. So like if I'm dealing with somebody for 9 months, you're the only person that I'm dealing with. So like, how you gonna sit here and tell me after 9 months that I gotta find somebody else to give my body to?
But we do Marvel movies together.
And that's what I'm saying.
Who am I going to the
mess
movies
me
with?
up because I'll be like, dang.
We're right in the middle of medical genocide. Who's gonna read apartheid? Who's gonna read the book?
But then, like we said, it's more than love is more than sex.
Absolutely. So. Very true, Stacia. A lot has to do with timing and your level of maturity. Yeah. When you meet that person, sometimes you're not ready. Sometimes and you know what's crazy? The thing about love, I very rarely see two people who are in love at the same time. And it's so imbalanced.
Oh my God.
Because one minute you love something, one minute you're like dead in love, and by the time they catch up and fall in love, you're on your way out the door. So it's crazy. And I see that with a lot of relationships.
That makes so much sense.
So it's just one of them things. But the time is now 12:03 in the great city.
What did Kevin say before you asked out of it?
Oh, I just read it.
I thought you said Stacia.
Nah, Kevin read it.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Stacia and Kevin on the same page. Exactly. See, people will come to a consensus.
Yeah, I'm with it. We're all in agreement right now. Like I'm with it. Okay.
I'm with it too.
I'm gonna be single for a long time because I got a lot of red flags.
As long as they don't come to the table like Miss Piggy, as long as they don't call you 25 times.
All right, once again.
Look, I'm trying to convince you that I love you.
Disclaimer. Once again, if my future lover is listening, okay, I'm gonna look you in your eyes right now. Everything that we talked about today. The scenarios were not real, okay? You have to find me and date me to find out my red flags, okay? This is radio show. But no, I don't like people calling me back to back, so don't do it. All right, guys.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, she's done.
Because he tried to play me and said, I don't like Mrs. Piggy. I like greedy people sometimes.
Future lover,
I like to feed people.
throw away your cell phone when you meet her. She's going to kill you because you're not calling her.
I don't
because
want
you don't want to call her 25 times. But anyways, listen, y'all. This is Monday Night Live with D.Moss. And come on, get timing.
NBS Malay.
Gotta work on that timing, woman. Young lady. Timing.
Hey, try it again.
90.7 WTCC, the best radio station in the nation. My name is D.Moss, and that is
NBS Malay.
And sitting in with us all night, and we love her for it, Curran.
What up?
Hey.
The one and only, the one and only what? The one and only.
The last Karenina, because after me, there will be no other, okay?
There it is. Good night, Carmen, Kev, Stacia, and everybody else who's been listening. Yo, my name is D.Moss, and yeah. We is out of here.
Yes,
Background
guys.
sound. We're gonna take you out with my man K-Sam. Unconditional.
That was a good combo. That was good, guys.
Peace, Facebook. Yay. Yeah. Oh, thank you.